Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 99 of the MeepleCore podcast, a bi-weekly podcast about board games, video games, music, and nerd culture. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Eric Ledford,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we give you our first impressions for the board games Carnival of Monsters, the Deadlies, and the Night Cage. Boardgamegeek has a summer board game release preview list. We go through that list and highlight over 30 games that we're excited about and much more. Intern Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What is the funniest corporate business screw-up you have heard of?
The funniest corporate or business screw-up you've ever heard of. Social media. I don't know. Actually, I have no... We're going to go for a twofer. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. If you would create a holiday, what would it be called and how would we celebrate it? When would this holiday be?
MeepleCore Day.
every day.
I don't know.
I did have one script. I don't remember the whole story. I'll give you the gist, though.
Oh, he's going back to the... Sorry, I scripted through Eric before. We're going back to question number 1.
Yeah. So there was an airline. I'm guessing it's still around. Maybe it's not. But they had, I believe, like Fly for Life. But you play like this one big price.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I know some people like got, their money's worth plus more. So that was a pretty big script on that airline's pricing model or whatever. I wonder if they're still
honoring it or if they canceled it.
I think they did end up canceling it, but I think it went, quite a long time before they decided to not honor it anymore.
It did. That's what I heard as well. They stopped this program, and that it's very dishonorable of them to do it. Okay, it was a screw up, but you offered the thing. You should honor it.
Right. But the people that got to take advantage of it, I believe that they got their money's worth and more. So I guess they still could be mad about it, but hopefully they felt like at least they got their money's worth for the time that they got to use it.
Yeah, interesting. All right, well, let's go back to holidays.
MeepleCore Day.
MeepleCore Day. It had to be in like April. I think that's the first episode launched was April 4 years ago at this point, which is pretty exciting. It's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spread the word, people.
And do you celebrate?
I don't care
it,
if this if
like
we get big. I just want people to listen to it.
Do you celebrate MeepleCore Day by playing board games and video games?
No, but in the past years we've talked about the anniversary every year, so I guess that's something. I don't know. If I had to pick a different non-me holiday. I mean, obviously we have a board game like National Board Game Day.
Right.
But it would be cool to have, George, what do you think? Anything come to mind?
I would say the first thing I was thinking is the National Deaf Day, and you have to communicate non-verbally all day, everybody.
Oh, that would be hard.
Look like a bunch of cavemen out there.
Yeah, but if that's what you have to do it, right? But it's just so much easier if you just learn some sign language. So maybe each year you'd get a little bit more motivated.
I know a couple sign language. Usually I'm mad.
Yeah, let's not.
Eric, anything for you?
No, I did the first one.
All right. We've all answered something. All right. Well, as always, we're going to talk about what we've been up to since the last episode. And I guess let's start with me, and then we'll go around. We got some frogs for the kids. Thankfully, my mom was okay to keep them at her house because we have cats and they get along very well with frogs. But they're small little frogs. They're like 1.5 inches long. We got 2 of them. So the kids were pretty excited. Gives them more of a reason to want to go over to grandma. Not that they need any more reason. They had a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
My brother, Brian, had bought this build a bird house thing, and me and Theron put that together. That was pretty cool. He actually used the hammer and nailed all the nails in.
Oh,
so nice.
Yeah.
That's an
the
important
holes are pretty
skill.
drilled, so it's a little easier for him.
Right.
And other than that, some Destiny 2 as always. And I've been playing some Monster Hunter Worlds with Emerson Matsuuchi, which we will have on the podcast soon. We're just playing some Monster Hunter and preparing for some content. So if you're expecting to come on here, have us ask questions about Century Spice Road 50 times, it's not going to happen. We're going to be talking, we're going to be talking his games and such, but we're going to be talking some Monster Hunter Worlds for sure.
Ah, yeah.
George, let's go to you.
Playing some Destiny as well. Enjoying that one.
Oh, yeah.
And I
did wrap him in.
Yeah.
And I do like the
him
Monster
in.
Hunter world. I definitely do enjoy it. I haven't played it in a while, but it's one of the few games that I actually have loaded on my system, so I go back to it anytime. But not a whole lot of computer gaming. I've been doing a lot of farm work, some gardening. We had a chipmunk get into the house the other day.
Aw.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah. The cats are worthless.
Yeah.
The dogs actually did a better job. So chasing it around, but we assume it's gotten back out at this point. We hope so anyway. We're still putting some food out for it just in case. So we
They're
don't really
cute,
know.
but
Yeah, we kind of lost it.
annoying.
It might still be in the house. Other than that, just doing some reading, enjoying my summer, really. Going on some bike
Awesome.
rides. It's been pretty relaxing.
You got that new job lined up yet?
Not yet. I had an interview and just the other day, and the interview started off and the guy said, well, we had someone who was coming out to our school a couple days a week all the way from Atlanta, which is 2 hours away. And I said,
Oh, wow.
wait,
Mike?
you had an interpreter coming to your school just a couple days a week? And he said, no, it was a teacher of the deaf. And I said, so you're looking for a teacher of the deaf? And yeah, he wasn't actually looking for an interpreter. So that was kind of a wasted interview.
What's the difference?
Well, an interpreter is someone who works with the child, on a daily basis, interpreting between
what
the
other people are
child
saying.
and the other students and the teacher and everything. Yeah. And then the teacher is someone who comes in and sees them on an infrequent basis, typically maybe an hour or 2 hours a day, if they even see them every day. And what they do is they come up with the goals for the child to be on their individual education plan. And then they sign off on those goals. They're the ones who have the legal responsibility, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Cool.
Not what I do.
So would it actually be teaching that child to sign and learning different words and whatnot, basically?
Well, in a perfect world, yes.
Okay.
But in reality, oftentimes it's the interpreter who's doing more language modeling and actually teaching more to the child than the teacher of the deaf, because unfortunately in our educational system, to become a teacher of the deaf, you spend all of your time taking classes on being a teacher in general, and then you only take a few semesters of sign language, and then and then you're a teacher of the deaf, so that doesn't typically work so well.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
But that's just my latest. I'm still looking. Well, I'm sure something will turn up because
oh yeah, I'm sure.
We've still got a few more weeks before school starts.
Yeah, I know a lot of school systems are possibly going to go to maybe full-term NTI or partial NTI. Most
of the ones I've heard are going to partial NTI. It makes it difficult for me because I'm going full NTI regardless of what schools are doing.
Right.
Which means I may not be working in the school this fall if I don't find a school that is doing that.
Well, there's school systems that are also giving at least the students an option of a full year of NTI.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, NTI is non-traditional instruction. So it's over the internet and then tele-interpreting in my case.
Right. Well, cool. So for myself, I've just been playing a lot of games with Melissa here at the house, getting ready for our next episode, which is going to be episode 100. And we're going to be going through some of the games that we like. So I kind of wanted to get those back out and kind of finalize what those games might be. Because some of those games that I probably would have had on that list, maybe the last time I played it is 2 years ago or something. So I want to be a little bit more fresh on those plays. So I've been doing a lot of board gaming just in general around here. And also we've been playing a little bit on Board Game Arena, which is a new thing for us, or at least myself. And I know Tim just got on it. I think George has played on it for a little bit.
Yes.
But it's kind of like tabletop in a way where you can go on there. It has a lot of different games. It is free, although there is a paid membership, which is not that much. It's like $20 or $25 a year. That I guess lets you start any game. I'm not sure how much more differences there are between the paid membership and not, but I've enjoyed it. It's a little bit more app. It almost feels like an app-driven game instead of tabletop or even Tabletopia, where there's a little bit more hands-on. You have to move your own stuff. So, but I've been enjoying that, and then besides that, that's all I've been doing, working and playing more board games.
Nice. You reminded me of a few things that I also did. I've been playing Board Game Arena, and I've been playing Codenames.
Have you? On there?
The CGE has an app, or I guess a browser.
A browser, right.
Page that you can play the game. And so I've been doing that with a few different deaf groups, and it's been a whole lot of fun. Yeah.
As Eric said, tune into episode 100. We wanted to do something kind of different. And since I've been kind of on the back burner of doing Dice Tower reviews, I haven't actually been putting videos out and stuff. So I'm not going to be putting my, our top 10 video up there. Instead, what we're going to do is episode 100. We're going to have Matt back on the podcast, and we're going to go over our top 20 games. That's all that podcast will be. So it's kind of a special episode. Want to do something somewhat special for episode 100. So we're going through our top 20 games, which is kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
I think I already know what mine are. I just don't have them in the right order. Mostly from 11 to 20. I don't suspect my top 10 to change very drastically, but we'll see. I haven't really sat down and hammered it out, but I've got the list of games for the most part. I still have to go through a little bit more to make sure I don't forget something, but I think I got it pretty hammered out.
Cool.
So
you're way ahead of me. This is going to be agonizing.
Me too. Right. And now it's going to be so much different than, what it was. We did a top 10, but it's been even a little bit since we've done that. Maybe
it's been 2 years. Yeah. Because we skipped last year. And so we would have done it November, 2018, I guess.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's been a while. It's going to be fun. I think we have a lot of games under our belt since then.
Right.
But my top 10's pretty solid. I'm pretty definitive when it comes to liking stuff.
So keep those on there. You're basically making 11 through 20.
My top 5, I don't really suspect to change much, but I think 6 to 10 might have some newbies, but the newbies probably aren't newer games. There's going to be one big surprise, but the other ones kind of will shift between 6 and 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of popped up in the top 10. Maybe they went back down because some other stuff popped up over it.
Yeah.
I think we could probably come up with each other's top 5 fairly readily, just from
maybe
discussions we've had. I don't think I'll have a lot of surprises on my list because I'm pretty effusive about the games that I really like.
Right.
But you're right. Making a choice about, is it 6 or 7 or, that's just rough trying to really narrow it down to exactly where it fits.
Yeah. And I kind of use the, it has an actual method, but the way that Tom does his, Tom Vassell, he will.
Yeah, go ahead. But I'll refute that a little bit. No, go ahead.
Oh, I don't solely do this, but what happens is I'll take all the games and put them on Post-it notes or whatever, not Post-it notes, but index cards. And then you take 2 of them and you say, which one do you like better? And you sort it that way. Then you take 2 of them and you say, which one I like better? And it kind of you have to go through it 3 or 4 times to kind of get a rough draft, I think.
Right.
And at that point, then you start really, you ditch that then, or I do.
Yeah.
And start comparing them.
Thinking about kind of doing that, but mine is so different. It's I got 2 players, what game that, would I want to play? But, if you pick out a party game and you pick out deep, heavy Euro, you're like, oh, which one would I rather play? It's like,
Exactly.
Depending on the group, depending on my mood, I guess. But so I think that's going to be really hard for me to try to use that method into kind of like picking, do I enjoy this game more than this one? Or do I feel like playing this more than this one? Kind of really depends on the number of players.
That's interesting because
even the players themselves, if I was going to play with X player, I'm not going to play this game that I really do enjoy. So
I think you're missing the point of a top favorite list, though. Now you're looking as a top what game should I play list.
Well, the top what games.
My number one is War Machine. You know how many times I played those with the old. But it doesn't matter.
To play.
I guess.
Or I enjoy playing. I guess really.
I think your favorite, like, if you have the, for instance, in the past, your number one's been One Night Ultimate Werewolf, because you have so much fun with it. It doesn't matter, if people hate the game or whatever. It's like it's about your personal enjoyment.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at that point. So, if you're looking at a top 2-player game, I wouldn't shy away from putting it on there anyway. As a matter of fact, actually,
not.
Weirdly enough, I think I had more 2-player games in my top 10 than you or Matt, because I had, even though Mage Wars isn't solely 2 players, you can play it with more. It basically is a 2-player game. War Machine's a 2-player game. I can't remember what else I put. Maybe that's just the only ones.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose in that situation, you just have to imagine that whatever the game that you're looking at, it's going to be in the ideal situation for that game compared to the other game, which is also going to be in the ideal situation for that game.
Yes.
That's kind of a good way to look at it. And I just look, how much fun did I have playing this game? I always enjoy this. And if I play another game, it's like, I only enjoy this with 3 players. I don't really think it's going to be in my top 10.
Yeah.
It might be in my top 20. It might be in my top 30. Really, for me, I don't think anything past like maybe 25. It's like, I like all these games. Past 25, everything's kind of in the same. And then there's crap. I don't know if I could do.
There's a 1 through 25, and then there's 25 to like 150 or 200.
Yeah.
They're all
like all the other games I played
together. Yeah.
It would be so arbitrary. And honestly, I do think this when people do these top 100 lists and stuff, it is so arbitrary. Dude, you are literally just, maybe there's a select few, but I think a lot of people are literally just listing down the top 10 or 15 or 20 games they really, really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
And then a crap ton of games that they enjoy. And then they sort it halfway. Just, okay, yeah. If it's in the 30s, really good enough.
Right.
I think that's probably true. It's hard to love every game equally that, far into your collection.
Yeah. But I mean, there's hundreds of games that everyone loves. If you've played thousands of games, right? You're going to have hundreds of games you love. But it's going to be crazy for you to say, this is my definitive top 100. Especially when you probably couldn't even tell me your top 100 6 months from when you did the video. Like, go back. All right, tell me how many, see how many you get. I mean, I have a hard enough time. Remember the top 5 I did 3 episodes ago,
Yeah.
Like which ones you put on there? Oh, I think these. It's like, but it is what it is. It's fun to do lists and stuff. Obviously, I don't think any lists are definitive to the point where, there's no change ever. Like these are just the top 10. Because even with our top 10 list, they change.
Well, good. This takes a lot of the pressure off, Tim. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have any pressure. But I mean, obviously, we're going to put thought into it in emotion. That's the biggest. Because these are your favorite games.
Oh, man.
It's not the top 10 games ever or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a great list. So,
yeah, I think it'd be fun. Anyway, we got a couple of news things, and then we're going to go on to some games we played, and then we'll get to that whole summer preview list. The first thing on the news is that one of the games we're going to be talking about on this episode is coming to Kickstarter, or actually, by the time you listen to this episode, it is probably already on Kickstarter. It's called The Night Cage, and we're going to be talking about it a little bit more in this episode. So if you're interested, just kind of fast forward to that and look it up on Kickstarter. because at the time you listen to this, it will be available to back. The next game is a Kickstarter that will be up probably by the time that I post this. We're a couple of weeks. No, actually, it just started. What am I talking about? As of this recording, which is the 9th of July. So that's going to look bad when the episode's posted. Like 2 weeks later, Tim, what's going on? We're just an episode behind right now. Ascension Tactics is on Kickstarter. This is the first game in years that has broke my Kickstarter silence.
Has it already broke it?
Oh yeah, within the first hour I backed it.
Oh, nice.
And that's only because I got the notification, or I didn't get the notification, and I was looking up something. It's like, it launched today. I was like, oh yes. So there was a back it within 24 hours to get your name in the book or something. So
gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Look for my name in that book. All I know is fantastic. This game is going to be glorious. I read the rule book. I opened it up on Tabletop Simulator because they put it on there. Haven't played it. But as I'm reading the rule book, I'm totally like, this is the World of Warcraft miniature game with Ascension just smashed together. It is going to be so awesome, if not just nostalgic for me. As a matter of fact, this is the first board game Matt has actually kickstarted as well.
Oh, has he really? Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yep. And I know this because he's emailing or he's texting me about the updates. So he's getting the updates. You have to be a backer to get updates. Oh man, this is gonna be great. It has a ton of miniatures, and I didn't know this, and this is miscommunicated on their part, honestly. Not miscommunicated, but not communicated well. That the Kickstarter comes with every player character type of thing that you put out on the board is a miniature. But in the retail version, it's only going to have so many miniatures for the most important characters, and then a bunch of standees for the rest of them. So they're not doing a good job of explaining that, and I think it's to their benefit if they did, just because more people would back to Kickstarter to get the miniatures.
Right.
It just says like 21 exclusive Kickstarter sculpts, and like it comes with 37 miniatures total. So does that mean like 16 of the 16 miniatures are going to be in the game and the rest of the 21 are standees? Or what do they do? You know what I'm saying? I don't get the breakdown on that. They are going to clarify that, as they said in the comments. So I expect that to be clarified. But overall, though, it's pretty cool. There's not a whole lot of tiers. It's basically just like the game or a bunch of Ascension stuff with the game. So, which I like. I'm not a big fan of all these crazy tiers and all this stuff that basically is just going to show up on eBay later. And there's like a play mat, there's sleeves. So there's like a bundle that comes with all that with a discount. I'm like, first off, I got my own sleeves. And second, I don't really care for play mats so much. I'd rather have the board. Some
play mats are nice.
Yeah, but this is like a hex grid that's green.
Oh, okay. Well.
I mean, whatever. I'm fine. If it looked really cool or something, maybe. Or if it's like, you know, like some of the Ascensions, like the earlier ones, didn't have a board. You just put everything out, but the board actually gives you places for all the cards and decks and everything. That would be cool. I'm not interested in a big playmat that's just got a hex grid on it and it's green. I can deal with just the board to do that. Anyway, I'm very excited. There's some stretch goals. There's not like a ton of them, but there are some. So I think it's cool. I think it's a good Kickstarter so far.
Are you surprised that it is its own sort of separate game and it doesn't use the cards from all the Ascension sets from earlier?
Am I surprised, or do you mean am I saddened?
Either one.
I'm not surprised, only because I knew the scope of the game and the old cards wouldn't lend themselves well to that. And I'm not really saddened that they can't be moved in for the same reason, because there is more stuff going on now than there was in previous Ascensions, or at least base Ascensions. And so, I don't know, the cards aren't compatible anyway, for the most part. They just look the same, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, but it's going to be awesome. They removed the whole, like, killing guys in the row that comes out, you know, the bad guys and stuff, using your power to kill them. Instead, what you do is you start the game with 4, depending on the scenario, but the base scenario is kind of like you get 4 of these champions. And the champions have a card and a miniature associated with it. And there's a drafting method you can do or whatever. But what's cool, and kind of the same thing they did with the World of Warcraft miniature game, is it doesn't matter which ones you have. It's not like, even if I have powerful ones and you have weak ones, it's still balanced, because they have a certain command rating that you actually have to pay in power to summon it to the battlefield. And if you pick all these guys that have really high commands, yeah, they're all BAs, right? But you are going to have a hard time getting them back to the battlefield when they die. Whereas you can just flood the game with like the other guys.
That's cool.
So it's done pretty cool.
Yeah.
You even have to spin the command to activate them as well. So even if you get them out there, you still have to spend tons of power to do stuff with them. And you're moving around on this map and getting close to these in the base game, base scenario. You have to get close to these like portals, and like the board's laid out straight up like League of Legends or something, where it's almost like you're in the corners and there's like lanes and there's like forests kind of separating everything. And there's these gem generator things in the middle of the board and kind of like in between you on the corners. If you're around those and you have the most guys around it at the end of a turn or whatever, it's going to generate points for you, and it's the first person to get 15 points.
That really does sound like one of those League of Legends kind of games.
It does. It is very mobile-like. There's also going to be cooperative play, like you fight against bosses and stuff like that, or go through the board and clear it.
Okay, that's cool.
Type of deal. Yeah. There's going to be team play, obviously competitive play. There's all kinds of scenarios. And it comes with tons of miniatures. I will absolutely paint this. As a matter of fact, Matt said he's going to have to set up his painting studio now.
Just for this game.
Just for this game. We are super stoked. This is the only game on Kickstarter I've like shared so many Kickstarter ads and stuff. I'm a fanboy. Anyway, the last piece of news we had is, this is courtesy of Dice Tower News. It's an article by Michael Corson, and I'm just going to kind of read it, but I wanted to give credit, obviously. It says, Tabletop Tycoon, publisher of games such as Nemo's War and Everdell, recently announced that they have donated over $500,000 of games and accessories to local game stores as part of a program launched to help retailers struggling due to the economic impact of the pandemic. The program launched on May 26 by accepting applications from local game stores to receive local store recovery packages consisting of dozens of games from Tabletop Tycoon's catalog, including new releases. To date, 500 different local stores have been approved and received these local store recovery packages.
Spectacular.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, actually, I got another thing as well that just came to mind. So GMT Games is right now giving away, I think you can, out of the catalog, what's available. Obviously, you can pick one or two games, and they will ship it out to you for free if you are out of work because of COVID. So, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is very
that's pretty
nice. Cool. Okay, both of those companies, well done. That's tremendous.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I mean, they're donating all these games to retailers, like brick and mortar shops, just to stay afloat. That's awesome.
Right.
I mean, G&T, obviously they're donating to people who are out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super cool as well. It's cool to hear. Cool. All right. We're going to move on. Well, first off, I'm going to plug some ways you can support the show, and then we're going to talk about some games. First, if you've never listened to the podcast, otherwise it's going to be redundant, check out MeepleCore.com and then click the Humble Bundle partner link in orange near the top middle of the website. This will take you to Humble Bundle with our partner link activated. And anything you purchase on the website, any Humble Bundles and things like that, some things are ineligible, whatever, will give a kickback to us, cost you nothing else. And obviously Humble Bundle is a site where it'll have bundles of games and software and books or video games. It's all digital stuff. Even some Switch games appear on there from time to time. It's very cheap to get these bundles. You support the developer. You support Humble Bundle. You also support a charity that's associated with that bundle. And also you'll support us as well. And you can choose on the sliders down the bottom. You can leave them as default, or you can move those around as you wish. And it's just really cool. You get tons of stuff for it, and also support charity. It's a good cause. So check that out. Also, you can go to patreon.com/MeepleCore and donate to the show through there. And I promise we will have some tiers and different things going on there that's exclusive content. It would just be nice to get a little bit more insight on backers on what they want, just because I'm not really sure, honestly. Maybe I'll put some raw footage of the show as we're recording it, so it's not PG-13, but we'll put some, maybe some raw footage of the show being recorded and stuff like that, or maybe once the pandemic, I'll tell you this, once the pandemic is done, one intent that I do have is to play some video games and put some of those videos up on there. And like actually have the video games being played. That would be kind of fun. So anyway, check out patreon.com/MeepleCore. Email us at meeplecore@gmail.com. Let us know what you would like to see on the Patreon rewards. Even if you haven't backed and you're interested in backing to support the show, we'd like to hear from you to kind of get an idea of what the community wants. So other than that, we're going to talk about 3 games before we get to the summer preview list. We have Carnival of Monsters, The Deadlies, and The Night Cage. And first up is Carnival of Monsters.
A 2019 release. The game is designed by Richard Garfield. The artists are Luc Billau, Martin Hoffman, Dennis Lohausen, Michael Menzel, Oliver Schlemmer, Klaus Stefan, and Franz Vollwinkel. The publisher is AMIGO.
And if you got the artist mixed up, it could be Dennis Hoffman. No? Well, anyway. It fell hard. Hey, anyway, so in Carnival Monsters, you're trying to collect these monsters for your menagerie or whatever. You play the game over 4 seasons, and it ends up being a game about drafting cards, and whoever has the most points in the end wins. What's going to happen at pretty much each season's going to be kind of repeated. At the beginning of a season, you're going to get 8 cards. There's going to be I'm going to mess up all these terminology, so Eric can explain those later. You're going to flip over this goal type of card that you're going to kind of battle out for each season. And it's going to be whoever has the most of this or that will get to claim this card at the end of a season. Once you have your 8 cards, everybody's going to select one, put it face down, and you're going to pass the rest of the cards in whatever drafting order is displayed for that round. It goes clockwise, counterclockwise, back and forth. Once you've done that, unlike other drafting games, you don't just immediately draft another card. The card that you drafted and you put it face down, everybody at the same time is going to reveal and then choose if they want to spend $1 to stash it, or if they want to play the card, and whatever type of card it is will be played differently. And gold is pretty rare. I forgot to ask you, is it 3 or 4 that you start with? Is it 4?
I believe that you start with 4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get 4. You never get gold naturally. You have to get it through playing cards, or if you run out of gold, you have to take a loan, in which gives you gold, but it also gives you a heavy point penalty at the end of the game. When you flip over the card, there are land cards, much like in games like Magic and things like that, like different colors. So there's like yellow, blue, green, brown. And there's a purple that is kind of a wild, but there are also purple monsters that require purple energy or, casting cost or whatever you want to call it. These are just put out in front of you. When you play a monster, you have to have the available land to play it. And when you spend those resources, it kind of like taps the lands that you spend to, or exhaust the lands to pay for that monster. So you have to have the land at the time the monster is played. Or you can stash it in your stash by paying the gold, because maybe you get a very big VP creature that you want to play later once you get enough land to do so. And you can do those as a free action after you play a card, but they stay in your stash permanently until you play them. There's also these one-time event cards that you could play. It just gives you stuff. It might give you gold. It might give you cages, which we'll talk about. It might give you some other stuff. There's special characters. When you play those, you pay gold to keep them, and they'll give you like permanent abilities that might say anytime you play this type of card, get a bonus. There's also secret goals or hidden goals that you will get. Those have to be stashed, and they're in-game scoring methods. So maybe at the end of the game, for every specific type of monster, like blue monster, you might get bonus points, things like that. At the end of the drafting phase, once you've done all 8 of your cards, you're going to determine who wins that like event card that was played at the beginning of the season. And then there are 3 dice that get rolled, and these dice have cages on them and blanks. And that's going to be kind of not shared, but everybody gets to apply that same amount of stuff. So if 2 cages were rolled, everybody gets 2 cages. And what those are for is the monsters you play sometimes are dangerous, and they'll have dangerous monster symbols. And you, at the end of the round, you either have to pay cages to fulfill those, or you actually have to pay $3. And if you don't have the money, you must take out loans in order to pay those. At the end of the season, you're going to take all your cards that you've kind of played, or at least your monsters. You're going to put those in your menagerie stack. Then you'll get 8 more cards, and you're going to do this over 4 seasons. So you basically play the game 4 times, but obviously you're keeping the cards out, like your lands and stuff. Those return to normal, so you can spend them again in future seasons. And then at the end of the game, you're going to get points for your monsters. They're all worth victory points. You get points for all those in-game scoring cards that you've stashed. You'll get points for your money, which I believe is just 1-to-1 at that point.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it, unless Eric has anything else he wants to add that I forgot.
No. And then you just lose victory points for every loan card that you have. So it's, getting a loan for $3 gets you a penalty of 5 victory points at the end of the game.
All right, let's start with our resident animal lover here, George.
Well, that was the best thing.
They're really animals.
That was the best thing about this game. No, they're monster-y animals, yeah.
Yeah.
The best thing about the game is the art.
And you're collecting them.
The art is tremendous.
So I believe at least most of the artists, or at least 3 of them, are Magic the Gathering artists that have been brought over to do artwork for this game. So it shows.
Yeah, most of the art of the monsters is very good. I don't think all of the art in the game necessarily is of the same quality, but the monster art is all very well done.
Yeah.
And so it's a very light, simple, fun drafting game. There's a disincentive to hate draft because you have to pay for every card that you take. So
right.
That also helps, I think. I don't know. Were you guys focusing on hate drafting? I certainly wasn't as we played.
No, so most of the time I'm kind of gearing up. Okay, do I need anything first? After that, can I get anything that's going to help me in the future? And then if that's no, and the other cards don't really matter, then I might kind of look over to the next player and see, like, okay, what are they able to do with these cards? And maybe hate draft there, but only in a case where it's incentivized me to do so. If I have a land card, I can just put that down. It's not going to cost me anything. But like you said, it does cost you a gold to hate draft and put something in your keep pile that you're going to stay there forever. So
right, and if you're not going to use it, then that's expensive. This game is rough for the money.
Right.
The economy is just rough, but it's not a big deal actually, because everyone has to deal with it, so that's okay.
Right. And that is one thing I did like about the game. A lot of different drafting type of games. You might get a card, and that's your discard. That's your discard card. That's a card that you might not use at the end. But in this game, every card is you either play it or you have to keep it. And when you keep it, you have to spend $1 for it, which is a victory point. So I did like that. It kept everything a little bit more tighter.
There's a lot of luck in this game, and there's some various reasons for that. There's so many cards in the game. Yes, the art is gorgeous, and that's great to have all these cards and everything. But at the same time, that deck is so large, you don't know what's coming out.
Right.
You don't know.
So my copy is sleeved, and it won't be in one big deck. It's in like 3 huge decks on the table.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards. So you play the game, and you don't see half those cards, or maybe just over. You might be counting on certain creatures to come out, and they just don't.
Yeah. I think the good news is, though, you almost just count on colors, not necessarily specific creatures.
Well, yes. No, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right.
You want a preponderance of creatures that are of your colors. That would be great.
Yeah, of your land type.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, then, okay, you're a little bit out of luck there.
But I think that since the game goes over 4 seasons, you have plenty of time to at least diversify. I think I have every land except for purple.
Which I think you might have said purple was a wild land, but it's kind of it's opposite. Purple land, or dream land, can only cast dream monsters, but dream monsters can be cast by any other land.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I did say that wrong. It's not how we played it the way I said it in the description, but yeah, that is the accurate way of saying it.
Right. We did play it the right way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then there are the symbols on the monsters of teeth when they attack you. And that's done by rolling dice, and you have to have traps to mitigate
the dangerous
that.
Monster.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some luck there. But there's no question.
Well, there's also monsters. There's one other symbol I don't think that we had brought out yet. There's another symbol that lets you draw another card from the top of the deck. And, you might luck out and maybe get a land that you want or a monster that you can go ahead and summon. Otherwise, you got to pay $1 and you got to keep it.
You always have to pay. Yeah, it's funny.
Right.
I did forget to mention that, but that is pretty fun. It's like a press your luck.
Right.
Because you play something that's weak and you're like hoping for something awesome to come out. But I mean, the thing is though, you have to pay that $1 anyway if it comes out because you have to keep it or play it.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't think I ever picked cards or creatures that had that option unless I had $1 available.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way I was taking a loan for that. But I mean, going back to the dice, I think it's lucky, but I think it's a kind of a cool mechanism.
It is
That's
fun.
To push your luck because the dangerous monsters give you more victory points, but in giving more victory points,
gamble on taking
there is a gamble in it, right? That it might cost you victory points if you're not either prepared or lucked out enough that you roll enough cages that takes care of the menacing monsters that you have.
Yeah, and I am glad that they chose to apply that same role to every
everybody.
player rather than each player rolling their own die.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That would be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is good. I didn't have, enough of a problem with that I thought that the game wasn't enjoyable. I do think this is a very good game, and I appreciated it.
Oh yeah, I think it's phenomenal.
I
really liked it.
And I like the progression through the seasons because, early in the seasons, you're going to maybe play more land cards to, then it lets you get out these bigger monsters, get more points. Then also you can save these other monsters to, on a future turn, cast out. Because all these monsters that you have, or all these cards really, that you have in your keep pile, on any future turn, even on different seasons, you can pull it out and, now you can combo 3 different things out at one time. So
okay, yeah, that was really nice when you got to throw out 2 or 3 cards at once. It felt really good.
Now, I like the player count that we had. I mean, we played with, I think the max player count, which was 5. Yeah. Eric, how did you like it at lower player counts?
So I played it at 2 as well. So there's a I'm not sure if it's a variant for just a way to play it at 2. And I didn't prefer it as much. It added a lot more, really just hate drafting in the game. So at 2 players, you get a hand of 8 cards like normal, and then you have another deck of 7 cards. So from that hand of 8, you're gonna pick one like normal. You can put it down. And then you're going to add another card from that hand, starts off at 7 cards. You're going to add that to your hand, and then you're going to remove one of those cards before you pass it on to the partner that you're playing with. I guess it's not a partner, it's your opponent. It's the opponent that you're playing with. So really, as you're passing these hands back and forth, you're really saying, well, you already looked at these cards, so they're not high on your want list. And when I pull up another card, is it better than these cards? If it is, I'm just going to discard it and hand it back to you. So maybe if they changed it, they could have maybe tweaked it. That gets added, and you discard one of the other cards. I think that kind of would fix it.
Well, this sounds like I always say this, but I'm interested to play this with 3.
Yeah.
Because the thing with 5 players, the thing with a lot of players in drafting games is you never see the same stuff come back.
Right. You're like, oh, I want this card, and I hope this card comes back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
with
not
3 players,
with 5.
Right, exactly. You're going to pass, you got 8 cards, so stuff is going to come back to you, but you have to kind of look, where's the crap that no one wants? And that's coming back to me. But in 3 players, I mean, you have a choice, you have a chance to get 2 things at least that you might really want, as long as the other players don't have the need for them at the time. Now, I mean, maybe it's a good strategy to take that
You take what you want and you look at the other players and you leave what they can't currently use. For instance, I have
because I'll have to stash it.
Yeah, I have 3 swamp land or whatever it is, and nobody else has swamp land. They might have 1. I might leave that guy that I can cast right now and pick up something I can use right now, knowing that you guys won't pick it up.
Exactly. It's a pretty fun game, man. And I don't know of any other game that does the drafting like this does, where you take a card, put it face down, everybody reveals it, and then you decide. It's almost like every other drafting game is draft all 8 cards or the full hand,
right,
and then do stuff with it. I think this is awesome.
Do 1 at a time and you discard the last card or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it gives a really good sense of, what everybody's going for. And so maybe if you play it a bunch of times and you get really good at it, you can kind of be like, I'll just leave the thing that I want because I'm thinking it's going to come back to me, and then hate draft their stuff and then build towards putting it out later. I mean, you can't really hate draft too much because you're going to deter from your actual victory point cards and your in-game scoring, and you're just going to spend money to put it into a box.
Yeah, actually that was the biggest difference between playing at, 5 players and playing at 2 players. There wasn't a need as much, or I guess really a need or a ability to do so at 5 players, whereas 2 players it kind of just made it into a game where you're hate drafting because you're adding another card and then you're choosing one of those cards to discard before you hand it to your opponent. So
yeah, that doesn't sound very appealing to me.
Yeah.
I typically don't think drafting games are appealing at 2-player anyway. I'm not super interested in the 2-player, but I'm 3 and 4 players. I actually think this game would be good at any player. And maybe I'm wrong because I didn't read the rulebook. You did. But it seems like you don't change for 3 to 5 players. You don't change anything.
No, yeah. Nothing else gets changed. That's just
fantastic.
A change at 2 players only.
My favorite thing about board games is no matter the player count, here's what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you just play the game. I mean, I get if there's like certain things on, maybe like charts or something, maybe everybody gets 4 cards instead of 5, but I don't like when they start adding in moving rules around or like taking away boards because this only works, in a 5-player game. Add this other board. It's
right. Which makes sense. On a lot of games, you gotta kind of have to do that to tighten it back up or loosen it back up, depending on the player count. But in this instance, there's no reason to do so.
Agreed.
Really, on the 2-player variant, it was stated that I believe that it was used because it gives you additional cards to add to the pool every round. But
yeah,
in actual play, really, you're looking at that card and saying, can my opponent use that card? Is it better than the cards that they didn't want before? Yeah, discard. So it never really makes it into the game, any of the good cards anyway.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't have the cards marked with player count and you add more as you know what I'm saying? Like you're playing with 4 players, remove all the 5 cards.
All right. No,
that's one thing I expected.
There's a lot of cards in there, so
yeah, that would be such a chore.
That would be a pain.
Yeah. Right.
It's good they didn't do that.
Well, cool. Anything else you want to add before we end this segment?
No, I enjoyed it. Like I said, probably 3, 4, and 5 player. I'll probably pass on playing it 2-player again, unless I, tweak a rule or 2.
George?
Enjoyable. I like the feeling you get when you collect some monsters. It's just fun.
I like this one enough to where I'll probably end up picking it up at some point. So, very good game. It might be one of my favorite drafting games, actually.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And I like drafting. So.
I'm not that crazy about drafting, but this is a fine one.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Fair enough. So that is Carnival of Monsters. The second game we have on the podcast is The Deadlies.
This is a 2020 release. The designer is Paul Saxberg. The artist is Leah Furman and published by Smirk Dagger Games.
So The Deadlies is a small card game that's about the 7 deadly sins with 7 deadly cute artworks. I don't know if that sounded great, but basically there's a small amount of cards and there's multiple copies of them. I believe each sin has a 1 to 7 version of it. And there's obviously 7 deadly sins. So there's 7 of those card sets. There's also a corruption, halo, and a purity card as well. Each player is going to get a token that they put in front of them that's going to tell you what your hand size is. And it starts with 6 cards. And the whole point of the game is you're trying to go out. And if you go out by discarding your hand, you'll drop your token down to the next number, which you'll go from 6, 4, then 2, and then 0, which means you win the game. And that's the goal of the game, is to basically discard your hand enough times to move that dial all the way down to the end. What you're doing on your turn is simply you're playing either all of the same number, all of the same type, or you're making a straight. Now, if you're playing all the same type, it's pretty easy. If you discard 3 sloths, you're just going to do what the sloth card says. But if you do like a straight or all of the same number, like all 5s, so to speak, then you're going to choose one of those sins to actually apply. So if you discard 3 different 5s, you can only pick one of those 3 abilities to happen. And the idea of the cards are pretty simple. There's like Wrath. When you do Wrath, you're going to force another player to draw 2 cards. But after the drawing, they can reveal a Wrath card and then do it back to you. And then you can do it back, and it can go back and forth. And, you're really hating on each other at that point. There's Pride. You can ask another player if they have the Pride card. If they don't, they draw a card. If they do, you draw a card. There is Envy, which allows you to draw 2 cards. And then if you do not have an Envy card in your hand, you get to actually trade your entire hand with another player. There's the Gluttony. And so either take a random card from another player's hand or draw 3 cards, but then you get to actually take another turn. There is Lust, in which you choose a partner, and then your partner, I believe, it's the partner, right, that makes the choice. They can choose to do nothing, and then which that was a failed whatever, or they can choose B, which is you may each discard a card, and each player that discards a Lust card in this way forces their opponent to draw 3 cards. So it's like this trust kind of thing. There is Sloth, in which you put the Sloth card face up in front of you, and all opponents with a Sloth card in their hand must draw a card. The last one, though, is Greed. I'm just going to say it's my favorite card, but moving on. Greed will allow you to deal cards out to other players from the top of the deck. It's like a press your luck game, and I believe it's if it shows 2 of the same type, right?
Right.
Then you quote-unquote bust. Otherwise, if you flip out, I believe, 5 of those cards that are all 5 different sins, then you get to discard your hand.
Mm.
Once you discard your hand, obviously you switch your dial down and you draw the next rank that you need for cards. There's also 3 other special cards. There's 1 copy of these. There is the corruption card, which is the value of 8, and it counts as all 7 suits. I don't think there's anything else for that one, right?
No, that was it.
No, it's just a wild, basically.
Yeah, it's basically just a wild number 8. There's the Purity card, which is in the deck. When you play this, it allows you to pick up the Halo card, which does not start in the deck. When you get the Halo card, though, you're going to hang on to it to your next turn, obviously. But once you play the Halo card, you actually get to discard your whole hand. So you basically just put a big target on your head at that point. So that's pretty much the game. And let's start with Eric on this one, since I'm having some breathing problems here.
No, I think the artwork is fantastic in this game. I do like how they hit most of these themes out really well at most of these cards. Like I said, I like the Greed a lot. It lets you push your luck, and each one of them kind of reflects on, what that sin would do. The only one that didn't quite jive with me as much as the Lust one. That one didn't make as much sense, but all the other ones I liked quite a bit. So I think I think it'll make a great game to play with family and other gamers. So I quite liked it.
It almost like Lust needed to be a little bit more prisoner dilemma.
Yeah, it's like, you're mine. I don't know.
I don't know. I like that one. That one made sense to
Lust?
me. You're playing Lust, and then you each put down a card, and if you play Lost again, the other person has to
choose a partner, and they're like, nah.
Well, yeah, if you think that person has another Lost, you're not going to do
true.
that.
That's true. And strategically, it's pretty good too, because, I mean, if you play you can't play it later on, because if you have less cards and you play out like a bunch of cards, you have like 2 cards in your hand, you're like, Eric, there's no way he's going to let me, he's going to try to hit me hard with a lust card,
right.
you know?
And when someone targets you with a lust card, they choose you to go in on lust with them. You know what cards you have, so you can say, oh yeah, I'll do that. If you know you've got a lust card, and then that's too bad for them.
That's true. I mean, you don't really get a choice anyway. I mean, you choose the partner. So they're going to be making the decision. I think what Eric's saying is it would be cool if there was not a nothing happens and maybe something else happens instead.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I would tweak that one. Otherwise, I like the other ones quite a bit.
It's a powerful card though, because you might discard like 3 4s and they're all lust. You know,
they couldn't be all lust.
They won't be all lust at that point. But my point is, the card that you discard, if your opponent, if your lust partner actually agrees, then you could discard a card that you had a hard time getting rid of.
Right, just some oddball card that you had nothing to match up with.
Yeah, like all your other cards can be part of a straight, or all of them have doubles, or
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have that one card you're like, man, I really need to get rid of this 2 Wrath card, and I don't have any other cards it can pair with.
Right, exactly. That's what I really liked about the game, is that you could look at your hand of cards and come up with a strategy of how to get rid of them in the least number of moves. You know,
Yeah.
But that's assuming other people don't mess with you.
Right.
and
they will.
That's true, because once they see that hand size go down, you're a target.
But sometimes they'll mess with you and it backfires because they gave you exactly what you needed to do something even better than you were planning. I really like this game. This is a winner for me. This is like a family weight game that the rules are so simple. The rules are on the cards, and there's only 7 kinds. You know, once you know how to play it, you know how to play it. It's the kind of game that everyone knows how to play because they've played Uno. You're trying to get rid of your cards. That just makes sense.
It is like a gamer's Uno.
It really is. And with better art and interesting decisions to
a
make.
lot better art, yeah.
Yeah, a lot better art.
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. It's a very fun filler game. You're right. There's a small amount of rules, but there is quite more strategy than you would expect there to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because you're looking at your hand and be like, all right, I can play these 3 cards to do this, and then play these 2 cards to do this, but I need to get rid of this last card somehow. As you're playing it, maybe instead you switch your strategy and do the lust strategy just to try to bait somebody into letting you get rid of that one card, but you got to do that first, so it doesn't seem like. But then you do that and you get 3 more cards. And what Eric was saying, or one of you all was saying, they play lust against you, you draw 3 more cards, but that actually might help your strategy at that point.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, and
It's unlikely. It's going to be probably bad.
Now, sometimes,
But it could.
yeah, sometimes if it gives you cards that make you a run or something, it could be helpful.
and you can get behind.
That's actually the reason why, even gluttony is in there. If you have a lot of cards that don't mesh together, you can gluttony up, draw 3 more cards, and hopefully get cards that, puts it in a set or puts it in
Right.
The same series or whatnot, or the same sin.
And it's just fun. It's fun to be a glutton and like hog the game because you get to go again.
Right.
That makes sense. You're hogging the game. And it's a game where you never, even no matter how far behind you get, you've got a chance,
Oh yeah.
You can play those greed cards and go for it.
Or you can even envy somebody. Like, oh, I envy your hand of one. Yeah.
It's good.
I do think my favorite card is greed, though.
Well, yeah, because it worked out for you so many times.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I won the game, but discarding my hand. How many times? All 3 times, maybe? Or
probably.
You won. It was greed all 3 times, but the 3rd time you didn't actually have to get all 5. You just had
you just had to get
you had to get through 2. A few, and you did. So, but it absolutely worked out.
It was so good. I love pressure luck stuff. That card was made for me. It was great.
Yeah, oh, it was fun.
I like the artwork too. It's this really fun, whimsical. I guess if you just look at it, you'll see what it means. But it's very hilarious, but at the same time, really good. You know what I mean?
It's vibrant.
Right. Oh,
vibrant. Yeah. That's a good word. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a great game.
Yeah, I recommend it.
I'm picking this one up.
Eric, any final thoughts on this one? It's like a smaller game, so it's like how long can we drag this out for?
Yeah, it's definitely one I would look out for and pick it up myself. I liked it quite a bit, so I think my family would like it as well.
Yeah, And even at 5 players, it's still pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess it could go a little longer if everybody is taking turns discarding their hands. Because it's one of those games where...
every time you discard your hand, you're going down to a lower number. You know, you start
Which
6
I actually
and
like.
4
That was
2.
fantastic. Because not only do you become more of a target, but you do have less of a requirement to, get to the end.
Right.
It's really
right.
good.
There's so many
Very
other
good
designers that would have said the opposite. They would have said, well, you're going out. You've already gone out. So now it's going to be harder for you.
Right.
And that would have just dragged the game out.
Exactly.
So that was definitely the right choice.
Agreed. And greed. Nah. All right. Anyway, yeah. I guess we're done with this one. Filler games can't have a 20-minute talking point. Otherwise, you could have played the game in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try this one out. Pick it up. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you like the idea of Uno style games where you're just trying to get rid of your hands, it's a no-brainer. This one's a great buy. There's not, even if you're playing it with younger kids, I don't know what it says, 10 plus maybe. Yeah, 10 plus. You could probably play it less than that because there's only like 7 cards. So they just look at the iconography, and as long as they can see the number at the top left, they just got to know what the card does. They don't have to read it every time.
Right. And there's nothing offensive on the cards, even though it's dealing with sins.
The 7.
Right. But there's nothing on the cards in the pictures that could be offensive in any way.
That's a good thing to point out. And that kind of lends it to where the artwork is very family friendly.
Yeah, it's cartoon. Yeah. It's
I have a 6-year-old, and I believe my 6-year-old could play this game just fine.
Yeah.
I was thinking this could probably just be an 8+ easily. All right. Anyway, that is the Deadlies. And the last game we have for this episode is The Night Cage.
This game is releasing in 2021. The designers are Christopher Ryan Chan, Chris McMahon, and Roswell Saunders. The artist is Christopher Ryan Chan, and the publisher is Smirk and Laughter Games.
So real quick, there is an advanced mode to this game. We have not played that. We've kind of played like the basic game. So I'm just going to go over what we have played. We'll stick with that. Obviously, this game is not released, so things could change. This isn't like a preview or anything like that. This is just our thoughts in a game that we have played. So The Night Cage is basically a game where you wake up, you have a candle, you have no clue what's going on. You're moving around on this board that is a grid, and it's just blank, right? The game's very black and white. There are some color, but if you look up the pictures, it's a very black and white game. This grid is basically like a 6x6 or something?
Oh, I thought it was more than that. Maybe
a bit more.
Yeah, 10x10?
Maybe it's like 8 or 8. Either way, just picture a square grid. Each player is going to have a starting tile that is, picture every tile has like corridors on it, and it's like north, south, east, and west corridors.
I'm looking at it now. So it actually is 6x6. I don't know why we thought it was more.
Oh, wow.
It felt bigger than that.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Anyway, you're going to put out a tile. You're going to put out a tile that has your starting corridor, and you can go one of 2 ways. And then each player is going to start in different spots in the map. It doesn't really matter where you start. There's a stack of tiles that you're going to kind of curate based on the player counts, and you're ready to begin at that point. On your turn, you can move, right? And when you move 1 space in a direction of which a corridor exists. Actually, before you do that, anytime you place out a tile, including your starting tile, you're going to light up with your candle the adjacent spaces. And those adjacent spaces will get tiles. You'll draw them, place them how you want, next to you or next to the corridors. At the end of your movement, you're going to place out new tiles, but the ones that are too far away will drop off. So essentially, you're kind of moving and only lighting up 1 space in front and behind you and beside you and stuff. But if you get too far away from other tiles, they get removed from the board. And that can be problematic because the whole goal of the game is you need to find these key tiles, 1 per player. Because once you go to the tile, you get a physical key that you put in front of your player board. And then that tile is going to flip over to the other side, which is a pit. And so that, you can only get 1 key per tile. And if that tile goes away because you moved away from it for whatever reason, then you've lost a key tile from the actual stack of tiles. And depending on the player count, like such as in a 5-player game, there's only 7 keys. So once you lose too many keys, it's impossible to win the game. Once everybody does have a key, the second part of the game is to get to a gate tile. and all of you have to be on the same gate tile. And the gate tile is the only tile in the game where you can all be on the same space. Otherwise, you can't move into a space with another player. And if gates get removed from the board, obviously that's going to lower your chance. I believe in a 5-player game, there's also 4 gates, if I remember correctly. And if the gates go away, if you got 4 of them in the discard, then you can't win the game. The other type of tile that you can draw is a monster tile. And these will sit out there, and if they detect movement, so such and such like line of sight, north, south, east, or west, if somebody moves or moves into their line of sight, they will trigger and attack everything in their line of sight. They don't attack over pits. They don't attack over broken corridors or blank spaces on the board that has no tiles. But if they hit you, you must discard 3 tiles from the top of the deck, or a stack of tiles or whatever. You do have these nerve tokens, which will allow you can spend a nerve token to kind of go again and stuff, but you can also discard a nerve token to reduce how many tiles you discard. You only discard 2 instead of 3. I forgot, how do you get a nerve token? You stand still?
Yes. You stand still without doing anything on your turn. Yeah.
Yes.
When you're hit by one of the monsters, your candle has gone out as well.
Yep. That's what I was getting at. When you are hit by a monster, you do go lights out.
They're wax eaters.
Wax eaters. You'll go lights out, and then you just discard every tile that's around you as long as they're not lit up by another player, because you only light up the space that you're in, which is problematic, especially if you have a key next to you and you get hit by a monster.
You don't even light up the space that you're in. You can only see what you can feel.
In the game turns, you can see the tile it's drawn.
Yeah, you feel it.
Anyway, but that's pretty much the gist of the game. The whole game is like a puzzle. You're moving around. The labyrinth essentially rebuilds itself as you move, because the pieces fall off and new ones come on as you move around. So you kind of have to use the strategy to get next to each other to keep things lit up. And there is a method to when you pull tiles from the bag, you kind of want to make sure that certain players are in certain spots so that if a monster does come out, you can move out of the way without actually hitting important tiles and stuff like that. So
right. So say you uncover something that's, it lets you pull out 4 tiles. Every tile you pull out, you get to decide which area that's the new tile is going to go in. So it's not like, I'm going to pull a tile for this spot on the game board.
Right.
So it does allow you to kind of place those tiles once you reveal them.
And it allows you to change their orientation as you see fit as well.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, I kind of like that. It is not as lenient as you think it would be. I mean, it's
right. If it wasn't there at all,
right.
You'd have, it would be entire luck, and it would be, you'd have no chance. But with this, that is part of the mitigation in and of itself, that you get to choose which side of your candle it's going to be placed on, and that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the mitigating strategy that you have to employ.
Right.
Is how you place tiles out, not even really what order, but what spot you get to pick it in. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's some other rules, such as you can fall into a pit and stuff like that. There's some extra monsters that you play with in the more advanced game where they come out and they face you, and you have to actually kind of backstab them, because there's no key tiles in that. You actually have to backstab the monsters carrying the keys.
Yeah. To
get the key. So it sounds like that part's going to be really cool. But we've only played the base game. What were you going to say, Eric?
So I don't think you mentioned it. So when your lights go out, you have to find another player and be adjacent to them for them to relight your candle for you.
You're right. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
Pretty important.
Anyway, I thought this game was fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, for being black and white, for the most part.
That's what I was going to say.
They did a good job. I liked how they are going to incorporate some, actual candles or, electronic candles, obviously, in the game. I think that might have been a deluxe edition that they're talking about doing. I think that's a good touch. So I think they put a lot of work into bringing that extra step and extra theme to the game.
Yep. And the black and white does give that horror feel to it. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of black and white games, but not that this is fully black and white, but at the same time, there's enough black and white there that it's kind of, it gives that creepy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a game
that makes sense,
kind of like Mysterium, where you can like turn the lights
That's
down.
what I was gonna say. Yeah,
yeah, and have like and play the game by candlelight for real. If you had those like tea lights and just light up the boards with those, and that would be like a creepy like ambiance to it.
Yeah, play a little soundtrack in the background.
You definitely should have those little electric tea lights and then turn them on and off when your light goes on or off. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This one, I didn't feel the theme as strongly as you guys did. I mean, it is a horror theme and everything, and you're in this like alternate dimension of weird, pits that open up, and you turn around and you look the other way, and now the corridor's gone. That's it's a very cool theme. Like I didn't feel like a horror effect personally, but I loved the puzzle of it.
Yeah.
And the design of it. I really enjoyed this one. And Kat wanted me to say that this was her favorite game of the night. She's absolutely picking this one up, and she struggled with it, I think, more than the rest of us in terms of how to place things and the best means to do that, but she really enjoyed it.
And that anytime somebody does something like that, like I was terrible at this game, but I loved it. That's always a good sign because it says that I really enjoy what's happening, even though I haven't figured it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I didn't expect such a puzzly aspect to the game, but as we played it, it's like, wow, this is like so much puzzle. It's like you need to move here. And it's not so much that you can like alpha game this so much. You could say things, but then, the slight randomness of the bag draw for the tiles kind of ruins it. It's like, well, yeah, we could do this, but what happens if this happens? Right. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to kind of decide on a gamble to do.
Right.
Really good game. I'm sure that we'll probably, after it's released and we play all the other advanced version of the game and stuff, we'll probably talk about this game again at that point to go over the rest of the game, because there is more to the game. And as Kurt was showing us, it just seems way cool, and the basic game is already awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they keep adding to this. It really is a clever design. I like it.
Yeah. One of the things about the advanced game is those nerve tokens you get. In the base game is you're kind of using it to either mitigate damage that you take or to take another movement action. But there's other things on your card, like you can like bum rush the bad guys and stuff to take those keys and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
There's another ability too. I don't even remember if I read it because it wasn't relevant when we were playing.
Right.
But that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah, definitely.
So, any final thoughts you guys want to mention?
Well,
I overall liked it.
Looking at the picture on the box, the cover of the box has an amazing creepy picture. It's right behind Eric, if you're looking at the video of this. And I'm wondering, what took place for that to happen, where this guy is just letting the wax just go over his hand for that long?
That's all he has.
He has no clue what's going on. He's walking around this dungeon of labyrinth.
He's not going to let go of that.
He ain't got time to be painted by that wax. You know what? I will mention
But he also hasn't moved his fingers ever since it got on his hand.
Right.
Oh, to break off. I will say that I'm glad there's not, and I hope the rule book and stuff, the official one, doesn't have a ton of backstory or anything, because I think it's creepier to not know what's happening.
Like Cthulhu.
To be in the mind of these, to be in the mind of these guys who just wake up with a candle and be like, WTF, mate, and then trying to climb out of this labyrinth. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
The creepiness is the not knowing.
Right.
Almost like Cloverfield movies like that, where the whole movie you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, you make it up in your head. Whatever excites you or makes it scary for you. That's what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I like how there's these pits that are opening up, that the certain tiles will crack and then become a pit, but you can jump in that to save yourself from the monster and actually transport yourself around the board in that manner as well. You choose a row or a column that the pit is in, and then you can emerge or fall out of the ceiling, I guess, into that into that new spot. Through some weird physics of this world. That's cool.
Right. Yeah, that was the weak part about it for me.
What? That's so cool.
The pit part. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to jump in this pit and I get to choose where I land. I didn't like that.
Not anywhere on the board.
Well,
not anywhere.
Yeah, you choose like a row.
An empty spot on the row or column where the pit was.
Right. Which makes it a good way to kind of get around. And maybe in future plays, maybe that's going to be a huge thing. Because at the end, you have to all get into one spot.
Absolutely.
So having a pit allows you to kind of fast travel, basically.
Although I feel like thematically, the pit should put you in a random spot.
Yeah, roll a dice, right?
Roll a die.
Yeah.
It's a 6x6. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Right, because you're kind of doing it to get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
You don't
Typically,
care where
you're going to get out, jump out of the way of a monster, or that thing breaks. You're right, and it turns into a pit, and maybe you have to turn around at that point.
I like it. This is nightmare mode.
Yeah. Nightmare mode. There you go. The difficulty mode. Random placement on pitfalls.
Variant. Why not? I like it.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
I think there's all kinds of variants you could do with this. The basic structure of the game is just awesome.
Very, very good puzzle co-op. Any last things, George?
No, I'm going. Kat and I are going to pick this one up for sure.
Sweet. Eric, any
last words? No, that's it for me.
All right. Great game there. The Night Cage. All right, so the meat of the episode is us going over the summer preview list on Boardgamegeek. They listed as the game releases for June to August. So it's like a 3-month thing. I just call it the summer preview list. That sounds cooler. I don't know why they didn't do that. But anyway.
I wonder if it's going to stay up. Maybe it's a new thing, or maybe they're just going to put it up for now.
It'll probably go away in August. The thing to remember about this list is these games that we're going to talk about may have already been released. They may have been old Kickstarter games that are actually coming to retail, but all the games that we are talking about will be available by August, unless some crazy stuff happens and pushes the release back for some reason. Maybe they, whatever. But unlike other preview lists that we've done for conventions, these aren't games that you can go demo. These are all games that are releasing in these months or plan to be released in these months. So we're going to go over about 10 or so games each. So we got about 30 plus games that we're going to go over. The list is only about 200 and something at this time. So
yeah,
not a ton of games.
Something else to mention is that they're still adding to this list. There were a few games that popped up on the list just today, as a matter of fact.
There were. Yep. And I'm assuming they'll keep adding them even all the way through August. So, let's start with George.
All right. Well, my number 10 choice is a little game that is called Camp Pinetop.
Did you put yours in an actual order, or you just?
I have mine in the order in which, the order that I'm, how excited I am by them. Yeah.
Eric, are yours in that order?
I could kind of go on the fly, put it in.
All right, yeah. I'll do the same thing. Order of excitement.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean roughly. It's roughly for me too, because I don't know a whole lot about a lot of these games. So the fact that they made the list at all means that I'm, they're things I'm excited about. So yes, this is just my number 10, but that doesn't, no detraction from this one at all. Camp Pinetop is my choice. It is a game for 1 to 5 players by Stephen Davies, and it's coming out from Talon Strike Studios. And this is a game that has a theme of scout troops or scouts going around through Camp Pinetop and the different locations there. And they've got these great names for these places that you can go in the camp, and you're going around trying to get your various achievement badges, like your scout badges. And so you've got some worker placement in there. And when you get badges, they give you extra powers. So it's also this engine building sort of thing. And the way that you move and the way that you get the badges is by playing cards. So you have a certain number of canoe cards that you might need to play, or hatchets, or, just various things that you need when you're running around in the woods. And the art is really cute. It's got these great sort of animal scouts. They're anthropomorphic animals, kind of like, it's almost like a Richard Scarry kind of a book, kind of art, you know.
Oh, Richard Scarry books are awesome.
You know, it's just the whole thing is really cute and very family friendly kind of a game. And yet I think there's meat here. I think there's enough to this that gamers are going to be able to enjoy it. I'm not saying it's a heavy game by any means, but I think there's enough there that you can, enjoy it whether you're a gamer or a family gamer. Looking forward to this one.
All right, my number 10 is something we've talked about on one of the news things way back, but it's the Ticket to Ride Amsterdam game. If you're familiar with these small, like Ticket to Ride London and New York, it's basically like a 15-minute version of Ticket to Ride. It's almost like a demo, but I love it. I think
actually, it used to be the demo. That's what they taught people to play the game. With this demo,
people like the demo so much that they made games out of it.
Right.
The only problem with these is that New York was great. It's basically just Ticket to Ride in 15 minutes.
Right.
But they had this one thing where you get points based on if you build a route into a city. You just get one bonus point here and there. London, they added something like that again, but it's like a region thing. So I don't know. I was kind of excited about London because I like the New York one so much, but then that's the only change. And I'm like, I don't feel like buying another copy of this game just to have that slight change.
Right. On most of the Ticket to Rides, you're playing Ticket to Ride, but there's one new little thing tossed in there. So that's going to be pretty typical. And I believe that's the same thing that they're going to do with the small box Ticket to Rides. It's going to be Ticket to Ride small box with a little bitty mechanic tossed in that changes around the game a little bit.
Yep. And in this one is if you build, I believe, a train around like the perimeter of the map, you get to get these merchandise cards. And basically the end game, it's whoever has the most of each merchandise gets extra points. Mm. Otherwise, the game's identical.
Right.
The map isn't really as interesting. I mean, I don't know.
It's not New York.
It's like the map is still like the same thing, but only a slightly different configuration, I guess. If that makes sense. It's not like I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like they could have had like choke points and stuff like that. And this one doesn't have as many of that. Who knows? Ticket to Ride's a hard game just to look at the map and be like, bam. Once you start playing it, you realize, oh, this area I don't like, or this area I stay away from because it gets really contested really fast. Because they could change based on the route cards there are. Maybe a lot of the route cards kind of skew towards one side of the board, stuff like that. So I'm interested. I'm not 100% sure I'll buy this copy, but I do like this one better than London. And I do like that it has like an interesting mechanism with the merchandise cards. And if I like it, I might buy it and get rid of New York. But I think at this point, I might only just keep one of these small box Ticket to Ride games.
Cool. For me, I picked out Spicy. It's
Spicy.
Spicy. It's capital, so I guess you get it. I don't know. It's by Hedabar Games. Hopefully I said that right. Anyway, so this is a bluffing game. It has a little backstory about these three cats that are fighting. They're like, all right, let's stop fighting. We're going to do a spicy chili eating contest.
That's how they're going to settle their differences.
Yeah. Right. So the artwork, the artwork's a little different. I like it quite a bit actually. And then the box is kind of blanked out. It's all gold foil. But in the game, it's a bluffing game, kind of akin to like cockroach poker and liar's dice kind of type of game where you're putting down these hot pepper cards and you're saying, hey, this is wasabi and it's value 5, and then the next person has to put down a wasabi, with a higher value. So you're trying to call each other's bluff and whatnot. So I typically like those type of bluffing games. So this is another one to kind of keep my eye out and try.
Yeah, this one looks so good. This was my number 11 essentially.
Oh yeah,
and the art, like you say, is great. It has like gold foil worked into the art.
Right.
It's so nice, and the tigers are all in this sort of, I don't know, sort of a Chinese or Indian style
that
they're drawn.
Yeah.
or Asian
and each one
anyway.
is different, as they're eating hot peppers.
Yeah,
their mouth is on fire.
They're crying. Yeah, it's really good. And the bluffing part of the game, I think, is going to be great because you put down a card face down and you say, this is a wasabi 6 because you played a wasabi 5. This is a 6, and then the person can challenge you. But when they challenge you, they have to challenge you on either the number or the color.
That's right. Yes, I forgot about that part.
So maybe you put down a chili 6. Right? But they're saying, oh, that's not a 6. And then you're like, haha, it actually is a 6. Okay, I lied about the other part. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm actually more excited about this now.
Yeah, it is pretty cheap as well. Minish Market, either they or have it, or it looks like they or have it, or you can order it. It's like $12.
Oh, it's only like a 30 card deck or something. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice. Is it me? Are we back to me? Okay, my number 9 is a game called Memorinth, and this is by Richard Harhoff, and it's coming out by Spielwise. And I don't know if that's actually where it's coming out here in the States, but Memorinth is a game that you have a central tile, and you put your meeple on that. Everybody does. And then that has a light side and a dark side, that tile. And then in a checkerboard pattern off of that tile, you make a 5x5 grid around it. So everything is either light or dark, alternating. So it looks like a checkerboard. And then around that whole board, there are 8 fairy tale characters that you place 2 to the west, 2 to the east, 2 to the north, and 2 to the south. And then on your turn, you're going to select one of the tiles on the game board that is the same light or darkness as the central tile currently is. And then you're going to flip it over. And whatever's on the other side of that tile, it'll have a fairy tale character of some kind. And you're going to move your meeple one step in the direction of that character that you just revealed. Okay. But then everybody else is going to go, and they're all going to do that too. The next round, that central tile flips over. And now you're doing the same thing. The thing is, also on these tiles, there's paths that go in certain directions. So you might not be able to move the way that you want to move anyway. But you're trying to get out of the forest by movement. But then you have to follow the path as well. And so as you flip things over, things change, and then you have to remember where things were in what color to get yourself to go the way that you currently want to go.
A memory type.
I think it's going to be insanely difficult. And then they have an advanced mode on top of that where there's goblins, and you can't go through goblins unless you do a thing where you get these lucky charms, and there's like it already sounded hard enough to me.
I stole my lucky charms.
So it already sounded crazy hard, but in the advanced mode, when you're flipping that central tile to light or dark, there's like different abilities that you can do depending on whether it's light or dark, or things happen. And it's going to be one of these memory games that is going to be hilarious to play with adults. Children are going to be able to play it, of course, as well. I think it's designed as a children's game, but I think for adults, it's going to be hilarious to play because I know I'm going to be terrible at it, for one thing, but I think it'll be really fun to try.
It sounds pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
It looks nice.
My next one is Kingswood. This is apparently a game that was on Kickstarter last year because there's some Kickstarter previews. Rahdo did a run through of it a year ago. So I believe this is coming into retail this summer. And basically the way it works is you shuffle these location cards, but you only use like 6 of them, and you put them out in a circle in the middle of the board. And you're going to put these little adventurers on 3 of those boards. Each board kind of has a special action on it that's going to give you resources, or you might have to spend money to do certain things. You will basically just do on your turn, you get to pick one of those guys, do the action of the space he's on, and then move him in the rondel. So they're going to be moving around the map, but no one controls these people. You just choose one of them, do its stuff, and then move. There's also like a king token that's out there that blocks that tile, or that location. It can't be used. So if you don't want to do any of the other actions, you can actually discard that king's crown thing off of that meeple. You can get rid of it and then get 2 gold. So it's kind of like you forfeit your turn, but you also make it better for everybody else because that's not blocking anything. And that comes back somehow. I forgot how it comes back. Not important. But the reason you're getting all this is because there's like these stacks of monsters that you have to spend resources to fight. And they're going to be worth victory points. And you play the game over, I don't think it's so many rounds. I think it's until somebody gets like 15 victory points essentially. And then you play until everybody's had the same amount of turns. And then at the end of that, whoever has the most points wins. But it seems like a pretty quick game. I mean, it says 15 to 45 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Seems pretty interested. The only concern I have is it's up to a 5-player game. And if you're
playing a 15-minute game.
It has that 5 tribes. No. It might have that like 5 tribes things where like too much changes between your turns.
Right.
So you can't really plan anything out. Mm-hmm. But it seems like a cool little game to try out. A little different.
Yeah.
Cool. My next one's kind of fast. Just Bargain Quest. They have an expansion coming out in August. This sunk cost. I'm sure there's a play on words on that. But it introduces some nautical heroes and some monsters and items that are going to be themed nautically, I guess. But it also, which I couldn't find additional information about it, but it says it adds a supply ships game mode to it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be a different way to play, which would be kind of interesting. It just says try not to go overboard. So something to look out for. Of course, if you already have the base game, we did talk about this game a couple episodes ago, so check it out.
Yeah, fun game.
All right, my number 8 is a game that I'm picking mostly for Kat's sake, but I'll be honest, I'm interested as well. It's called Wizard Kittens, and
I see that.
I believe this was a Kickstarter that will be coming out eventually. And this is a game where you are playing semi-cooperatively, and you're trying to undo these curses that have been let loose. I think you're some sort of wizard kittens that are at a school for wizard kittens or something, and then there's there's curses that have been come upon you, and you have to meet their requirements to satisfy the curses before the end of the game. And so you're doing that sort of cooperatively, but by the end of the game, whoever's done the best job is going to win. Although, if the game ends and you haven't taken care of these curses, then there's a dirty paws clause, which says that whoever has the most like guilt or negative points to them for not having helped out the most or whatever, they lose the game automatically or something like that. So, yeah, or everybody who's over 10 points in that does or something like that. So anyway, it is the most saccharine made for little girls kind of art with
yeah, definitely
with, like ribbons and like shiny bits and
My Little Ponies is what it looks like.
Yeah, My Little Pony kind of, but I've never understood it, but there's like adults that like My Little Ponies, but that's fine.
Bronies.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that's Matt. Matt's a brony.
Is he a brony? I didn't know that.
He's not even here to defend himself.
No, I think he is. He likes My Little Pony.
All right. Well, I might like
at least the tradable or the living card game.
I might like Wizard Kittens. I mean, it's got all kinds of like stupid puns and stuff. Like there's a permaid monster, and stuff like there's just lots of puns on purr and stuff like that. But whatever. Like the game itself, looks interesting, and I'm gonna give it a try. So I picked it.
All right.
Cool. That sounds really silly.
If I'm honest, I know Kat's going to love this game regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Next up for me is Shards of Infinity Into the Horizon. There's a couple of expansions for Shards of Infinity. Apparently this one will wrap up the storyline that's going on. I don't know what that means for the actual game. If it lends true to...
storyline. Oh no!
It's the end.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't know. Ascension comes out with like a base game and then an expansion, and they just do that rotation. I hope that Shards of Infinity doesn't do that. Where after this one, it's like here's another base Shards of Infinity, and maybe it's not compatible, or you don't want to mix them because they add another mechanism, and if you mix the old stuff, it dilutes it too much. Either way, it sounds like it adds a lot of cool stuff. There's not a whole lot of information about this one except for a few paragraphs, but the two things that it does add is it will add these destinies that you can purchase by using mastery, which, obviously you need mastery to win the game, but you can buy like abilities or advantage during gameplay. I'm expecting it to be some sort of engine building purchase, because you're going to spend basically victory points essentially to buy something that might actually allow you to generate more. Maybe it's going to be like you buy this card and it gives you a bonus when you play stuff. I'm speculating at that point because there's no information. But the second thing it does add, in this game, you can attack each other, obviously, and it adds these things called the evil Ingeminixes. Ingeminix. Ingeminix. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but I'm going to pronounce it the Ingeminix. And it's a new source of tension that harms all players, and you can defeat them with timed use of power. So it sounds like it's like bad guys that just kind of hang out that you can fight as well instead of fighting other people. And maybe you get bonuses for them. So I really like Shards of Infinity, and looking forward to this.
Cool.
I'm definitely in favor of having things you can fight other than other people.
Nah.
True.
Next one for me is Fort by Letter Games. I really looked this one up because, it's these are the same people that brought us Root and Vast, and so I was kind of thinking more along those lines. This is
they only make 4-letter games.
Oh yeah, there you go.
You're right. Oath and Root, yeah.
And Fort and
so
Vast.
This game is really a lighter. It seems like it's a lighter deck building type of game. I couldn't really get past the artwork.
I can't either.
Yeah, the artwork is not so good.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's the same person that drew Root, and they do great with
really?
animals. They're adorable with animals. Little kids.
But not with people.
Yeah,
no. They. So I'm not sure if I would be able to get past artwork myself, but it is a re-implementation of a previous game called SPQF, which did pretty decently. At least ratings-wise, I haven't played it myself, but it's something to look at, and I couldn't find a lot of more information about it otherwise. But yeah, just something to look out for, and I'm hoping it's good. And maybe now I guess it comes out in August. I guess they're not going to change the artwork.
So wait, let me get this right. So there was a game that was about like Roman legions going out and conquering places, and now it's about little kids building a fort.
Yeah.
Okay.
It got rethemed, and I'm sure they changed the game around a little bit. But that's interesting. Yeah, that's the gist of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out, but the art bothers me. If it was animals, it'd be better.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Okay, my next one, number 6, I think. Or 7? 7. Thank you. Is going to be, what is it called? Back to the Future Dice Through Time. So
Dice Through Time.
It's a dice game where you're playing through all of the Back to the Future movies. I don't think you're confined to one of them. You're playing through the lot, and you are trying to resolve these event cards that come out, and you do it by rolling these dice, and then you get items, and the items are on cards, and they tell you which place and which time that they have to be in. So you have to DeLorean around and get them where they need to go. Because if you don't, your family's going to wink out of existence or whatever. So you're playing through like all the movies, but you're doing it with these sort of dice placement mechanics. And the really cool thing is you can ripple dice. They say ripple them through time. And you can leave dice in time for other people to come and pick up and use, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say it's cooperative or is it competitive?
It's cooperative.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You're all part of the same, trying to save the timeline, I guess.
They should have the traitor, and all he wants to do is find the book of winning of like the sports almanac or whatever.
We could like house rule that for sure. We always put traitors in games.
Yeah, if it just happens to come out, like no one just starts with it, but if they see it, the greediness is like, I'm going to betray now.
Yeah, we could do that. Absolutely.
So stupid.
But the
Cool, sounds
art
good.
itself, the game itself looks so, what is it, 80s and 90s, I guess? The colors are very neon and,
Right.
straight from the period. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. All right, my next game is Imperial Settlers: Rise of the Empire. This is basically it's called a meta expansion that adds a completely new layer to Imperial Settlers. Did y'all look this one up at all?
I did not. A meta
I did not.
expansion?
Meta expansion. It phenomenally changes the game. This basically adds. It adds a open world campaign setting to the game.
Oh, that's
What that means is it's kind of legacy in a way. It adds these 3 packs of 3 pads of paper that represent 3 different ages, and you're going to be progressing as you play the game. Like you play multiple games, and the game's shortened. You only play 3 or 4 of the 5 ages, basically. You know how you play the game 5 times in the original one? It's shortened to 4. So it's a much shorter game. But the idea is, as you play, you will get stuff and move up on these tracks, and you actually have a pad of paper that you're actually marking off on these tracks, and you get bonuses for going up and stuff. And at the end of the game, each game, you'll actually possibly click these like province cards, which from the rule book is out. I skimmed it. I didn't read it all because we were doing so much research on all these other games. But basically, you get province cards, and those will give you resources and actually abilities and stuff because you get a card that's associated with the province. But basically, I've said basically like 50 times.
basically.
You are getting rewards for playing this, and there's deck building rules and stuff like that they've added in the previous expansions that you can utilize here as well. As you play, you're gonna play one mat or paper or whatever, but once you finish that one, you'll get the next one, and you'll go through it, and then there's a third one. So sounds pretty cool. I really want to read the whole rule book and get this, but the rule book is only like 8 pages or something. It's not very long. Because it's Imperial Settlers, but this is like expansion content.
Which 8 pages
it kind of
on
makes it
a
into like this
expansion. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's not very. If you looked at the rule book, you'll see what I mean.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, one of the pages is like all the components. So the back page is like design stuff. So it's really not that big of an expansion book when you start looking at it. Anyway, I haven't bought any expansions for Imperial Settlers. I really like that game. I will probably pick this one for sure. That is the most bad grammar. I will probably pick this up for sure.
Maybe,
I will probably
or not.
100% pick this up. It's late. It's 12:44 in the morning, people. Cut us some slack. All right, Eric, go ahead.
All right. Next one from me is this game called Magic Money. It's by Indie Cards and Board. It's Indie Boards and Cards. Switch it around. Anyway, so in this game, Merlin dies, and he leaves all these critters that needs to be adopted, and you're going to be paying some money for it. However, you're also wizards, and you can make money out of thin air. You bid whatever you want. So yeah, you're bidding on these cards, and you're acquiring different sets, I believe. And at the end of the game, whoever spent the most money is disqualified. They can't win. So that's the big thing about this game. So I thought that was pretty hilarious, where you can bid whatever you want. Just whoever bids the most throughout the whole game does not win.
What's this game called again? I missed it.
It's called Magic Money.
That sounds awesome.
Game.
Right.
This game sounds so much like QE.
Oh yeah.
You can bid just as much money as you want, but the theme is so much better. I'm gonna pick this one up. This is one that made my shortlist. It was.
Oh yeah. I like a lot of indie boards and cards games that they put out. So
yeah,
it's like coup.
And the game was designed at around the same time as QE was by a different person. It wasn't that they had each other. They just had the same idea at the same time. And this one appeals to me a whole lot more than being like a a financial banker, whatever.
And,
Yeah.
and it has a better name.
Absolutely. It's just more
Magic
fun. You have
money.
an actual theme that just is more appealing, but
That works.
But the idea of being able to just bid any amount of money, that's just a fun concept.
Now I'm getting this
That
card.
is fun.
$5 million.
Yeah.
$200 billion.
You can. That's fine.
Yeah.
He's losing.
Maybe. Anyway, my next one, we're on number 6 now, is called Red Outpost. And this is a game that is a worker placement game, and it's a solid Euro kind of game where you have these workers and you're going to send them out to do work. And where it is on another planet. There's been this secret Soviet mission to set up a base on a planet in a remote galaxy, and so it's this Soviet stronghold. And so you have all these workers, they're going to go out and do things and have this Soviet society develop. And you're one of the leaders. And so you're trying to secure yourself as the leader of this colony. And you can take one of the workers and tell him to go do something. But the thing is, the worker placement twist is all the workers are controlled by all the players. So you can tell someone to go do something, but every job that you tell people to do will affect that individual. There's like their mood, their morale. And so you put an influence on that person when you select them. And if you end up having the most influence on that person by the end of a certain period of time, then that person's morale score is going to affect you. It might be good or it might be bad, just depending on how things have gone throughout the game. But the concept is so cool that you have this sort of communist commune and this way of playing that's very communal as well. Everyone can use all the same people. So I just really like that. And the art, you should take a look at the art in this game. It's
really
looks
good.
It's like
great.
Scythe without giant robots, even though you're in space.
Right.
It really is nice.
This is one I had on my list and I just didn't get to it. So I'm glad that you researched a little bit.
It is appealing. I think it's going to be a really interesting game and a solid Euro for this year.
Right. Well, a solid Euro, it says 30 to 60 minutes. It looks like I'm just looking at it and looking at the board, and it doesn't look like a 60-minute game. But
it does not.
We'll
But how many Euros say that, and they're not either?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's true. Most Euros like 120 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're still not.
It's like 4 hours long.
Yeah. So you know what? If this is a shorter game, that's even more up my alley. I'll be even happier.
Sweet. The next one on my list is one that I was absolutely not excited about. I clicked on it anyway and I read it and it quickly went really far up my list. I was like, wow. And that is Cult Super Express. And I like Cult Express, but this just seemed like at first when I read the description, I was like, it just sounds like a distilled version of Cult Express.
Super distilled.
It no longer comes with 3D.
Super distilled.
Super distilled. Yeah. It doesn't have 3D components in it. It actually just has cards for the different trains.
Oh,
the caboose and stuff, all the different train cars. It has no looting. There's no treasures or anything. No, I know.
Wait.
I know. I heard all this, and I was like, "This sounds
Are there
dumb."
Meeples? Do you have Meeples?
It's like there is Meeples. It sounds like the card game version of Super Cold Express, even though it's already a card game. You know what I mean? But here's the cool thing about it. I mean, the game is supposed to be 15 minutes long, right? It's supposed to be a really fast game. What happens is you have 4 cards in your hand. You get to play 3 of them. You put them in a stack in front of you. You don't do the whole everybody putting in one big stack. You just put the 3 cards in front of you, and then starting with the first player going around, you'll do your first card. Then going around the second round, you do your second card, etc. The difference is what you're trying to do is stay alive. There's player elimination. Wow. So at the end of the whole round, once everybody's played their 3 cards, the caboose train card, whatever card is in the very back, gets removed from the game. And so you're trying to stay alive and be in the, closer to the front. However, there's an incentive to actually be near the back of the train, because if the train car falls off, it gets removed, and I don't know how the tiebreaker works, but you're in that last car, not in the last car that gets removed, but the one before it, you get to pick that card up that gets removed. And so at the end of the game, whoever's left in the locomotive, if whoever has the most train cars will win the game, because those are called loots.
Okay.
So you want to get those cards as tiebreakers for the end of the game, so it gives you an incentive to not always be in the front. The other kind of differences is the cards do kind of basic stuff. There's a shoot card. You don't have bullets or anything like you did before. Shooting, you actually have an orientation, so you're either facing left or right, basically. And your Meeple only has one gun instead of two. So which way you're facing. So when you move, you must move in the direction that your guy's facing. There's a switch around where you can, choose directions and stuff too. You can shoot. You can get on top of the train like you could in the Colt Express game. You're simply either on the card or above the card. And that's pretty much it. I just like the idea that they added this incentive to be really close to the card that falls off, because you have to keep it as tiebreakers for the end of the game.
Yeah, it's like you go through the last car and rob everybody, and then they're all mad at you, so you have to unhook the train and I guess send them down the mountain. Are you going up a mountain or something? How do you die? Do they die? Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. They're players removed from the game. You can't win. You don't play any more cards either or anything.
Okay.
You're out.
Yeah, so they just hurtle down the mountain and crash.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds awesome. Oh, the game could also end. It doesn't keep going until just the locomotive. If you're the last player in play, you also win. So if everybody just gets on the last cart, gets
booted out,
bam, you win. Eric doesn't seem as impressed as I was.
Sounds all right.
I will probably here's the reality. I will probably like Colt Express way better. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be Colt Super Express might just be one of those games flip out the cards, play it. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
At any point you can just be like, you want to play this?
Yeah,
cool,
like whatever. A love letter kind of thing.
It's almost it's exactly what I was thinking, like love letter version. It's just so quick and fast, and it's like,
I can see it. I would probably like it better, than dragging out all of Colt Express, actually.
Exactly. And the fact that they don't have any 3D components other than Meeples, this game is probably going to be $15.
Even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It can't come with that much. It's there's some extra stuff in the rule book. There's 2 other cards. You can get a horse and stuff like that. I didn't read those, but
that's probably the best part.
It probably is. It's more advanced play, I guess.
Oh, definitely the best part.
Whatever. All right, dude, next one, Eric.
Next one for me is New York Zoo. It's by Uwe Rosenberg by Capstone Games. So, just the name kind of brought me out, designer-wise. So, in this game, you are building out a zoo, I guess, in New York. Everybody's building their own zoo, breeding some animals. So, and, it's going to be pretty easy. So there's this little polar bear that goes on this central track, and you're going to be able to move this polar bear with 1 to 4 spots. And you're either stopping somewhere to pick up a polyomino tile in order to put into your zoo, this enclosure, or you're going to stop and pick up a pair of certain animals. And why you want to do that is you're going to put it in the enclosure, and like a lot of his games, there's breeding happening, and you want that. Every time it goes to different parts of this board, as you go around this big track, all your animals are going to breed, and you're trying to fill up these enclosures, which gives you these attraction tiles that you put out that take up more room in your board there. So it is basically the first person to fill out their board is going to win. So what kind of brought me to it after I even looked at it is Melissa really likes patchwork, and it's really kind of re-implementation of kind of patchwork. In patchwork, you're deciding which of these tiles to go in and get income for that, which this is not really getting income, but you're getting these animals that are kind of income in a way where it's going to give you more tiles to put onto your board. So I kind of think Melissa is going to like it. So That's why I kind of put it on my list.
Sweet.
Yeah, that one looks like, a typical Uwe kind of game. Polyominoes.
Yeah, lighter Uwe kind of game.
It's got a lot of typical Uwe stuff. We're breeding animals, like he likes to revisit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My next one is the Stygian Society. This was a Kickstarter, I believe. It's coming out from Ape Games. Which, by the way, just to back up really quick, Back to the Future, the Dice Through Time game, that's Ravensburger. And then the Red Outpost was from Lifestyle Board Games. Okay, so anyway, Stygian Society. This one, Ape Games, and the designer's Kevin Wilson. And this one is a dungeon crawl game, which I'm not into dungeon crawls. The one that I enjoy is Mice and Mystics, just because of the mice, honestly. And, and this one actually has something else that appeals to me a lot. You have characters that have abilities that are going to go through a dungeon, take on monsters, and get to the big bad guy and take him out, just like every other dungeon crawl out there. But in this one, their abilities are to drop cubes into a cube tower. And they're actually traveling
cube towers.
Up a tower. They're going up the levels of a tower to get to the top to fight the big bad guy. But then you use the actual physical tower itself to drop cubes in, and it has all these little platforms on the inside. So sometimes they'll drop out straight through, and sometimes they'll get stuck. And so when you drop cubes in for one of the heroes to do an ability, whatever comes out, if it's the right cubes, they can use them to perform certain abilities. But also, at the same time, you're putting in cubes for the monsters each time. So you never know what's going to come out, and the monster abilities are triggered off of the monster cubes. And there's also a little graveyard fenced-in area that sits at the base of the tower. And if the cubes bounce over that little fence and land in that area, then they are double whatever their effect would have been.
Oh, wow.
So depending on, just luck, you can get some real hammer blows from the bad guys, or you could pull off some amazing combos. And it just seems like a really fun way to do a dungeon crawl rather than rolling dice.
Right. Yeah, I like cube towers. I would play it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this might be up Eric's alley since he has a cube tower.
We're gonna have to try this one. I'm gonna get this one, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. I'll try
it's got nice.
I'm glad to see other people using cube towers.
Yeah, and it's got nice cartoony art. It looks well done, really.
Nice. The next one that I have on my list is pretty much no surprise to anyone, but it's Gloomhaven: Jaws of the Lion. There is a ton of content out there, so I'm going to keep it real brief. There are plenty of solo playthroughs and reviews. It hasn't been out that long, only 2 to 3 weeks now.
Oh yeah, if that. It was Target exclusive just during this time. It's going to be, other stores are going to have it in August.
It's already on Amazon too, though.
It's only on Amazon because people put it on there.
Oh,
reselling it on Amazon.
Well, anyway, it's
on eBay too.
It's hard to say.
It's on eBay as well.
It's on eBay as well. It's hard to say this is a distilled version of Gloomhaven because it is, but it's not. It's still a really meaty game, even though aim it at casual players or something. I don't agree with that description. It's a little bit more complicated, I think, than most casual people will be into, but it is more casual than Gloomhaven.
Definitely.
The biggest thing is they removed all the tiles and everything, and it's a storybook that you flip open, and it has printed maps on the actual book. And there's another book that you can add on to it to make a big map for the epic battles and such. The game has a pretty good tutorial system, apparently, where you go through 5 games to learn all the rules. You don't really have to read the rule book, so to speak. I mean, you do read something.
Right. It gets you the basic
rest.
Start of it, and then you play these 5 tutorial missions to kind of learn the more sophisticated parts of the game. Yeah,
exactly. And I don't remember, does Gloomhaven have dice? Because I've never played
it. That's card driven.
Yeah, this one's also card driven. So I'm assuming the gameplay and combat and stuff is pretty similar, but I do know that it's slightly different. I don't know.
It comes with 4 characters, which a lot of...
It only comes, 4 miniature, a lot of standees.
Yeah, which a lot of people also are picking it up because they kind of just want those 4 characters to toss into their Gloomhaven games as well.
Gloomhaven.
So that's another big thing that people like about it.
Yeah. This might be the only game I buy so far that I'm buying and to play it solo.
Oh yeah.
I've almost decided that for myself. I haven't 100% decided it. But I was like, I don't know. It might be a cool board game to play by myself for now.
Yeah.
Because the quarantine and all that stuff. It'd be neat to talk about it afterwards. With no spoilers, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's got the whole story-driven thing where you make decisions and stuff and flip the book and do the next page. And I think it has 25 scenarios. So there's quite a bit of content there. And at a $50 price point, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like the idea of having the storybook. That's great.
Oh yeah, it looks really cool too. I almost think that it would have been neat to see that in the normal Gloomhaven instead of like 1,000 map pieces and doors and all this stuff. Even though it does look cool, the storybook just looks really
well. And
good.
setup is a snap.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flip.
And you're done. So yeah, that'd be a big plus.
Yep.
Cool. Next one for me is Disney Hocus Pocus, the card game, or I guess it's just a game. It's by Ravensburger. It's going to release here July 26th. It says so. It's based on the 1993, which is a 93 movie.
Well, that's older than I thought.
That was older than I thought it was too. That's 27 years ago. Wow. Anyway, it's a co-op game where the Sanderson sisters are coming out, and you're trying to mess their plans up by tossing your ingredients in this cauldron. However, like some other games, you're not able to talk to your teammates as co-op, but you are able to ask them on your turn, like, do you have a blue card, or do you have a certain ingredient? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to align certain ingredients in this pot where you stun the sisters, and you're supposed to do that 3 times during the game. My kids actually like Hocus Pocus a lot as well, so it's another game that I think they're gonna kind of appreciate since they like the movie.
Speaking of which, it looks like Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out soon.
Oh yeah, right.
On Disney Plus. Sounds like a good reason to bring out a card game. All right, what you got, George?
Okay, my next one is this. What number is this? 4. Number 4. Okay.
4.
This is one that I already own, actually, and we have played it before. It is Rosetta the Lost Language. And this is a game where you have one person who is the author, and they are going to be using a picture language in order to convey the meaning of a word to the linguistic experts who are the other players. So you have a bunch of cards that represent various symbols that could be part of a picture language, and you're going to show one of them to the players. And as the author, that represents a certain word that you've written down that you don't show to them. And then the players are going to be making guesses as to what the meaning is. To help them with this, there's a card that shows the location at which that particular piece of language was uncovered in the archaeological dig. So that, if it's in the desert, the author might start, with a word that is tomb or something like that. They're not going to go with, parrot. I guess they could, but anyway, it would be hard. That would make it real hard. Anyway, so you're going to have at least a little bit of information. And then as you play the game, you're making guesses as a team. And the greatest part about this game is after the players make a guess, then the word that they guess, the author is going to show what that word would look like in that language. And they have to recreate that themselves. This isn't part of the game. You just have to use, logic and certain linguistic principles that would make sense to you as to what that would look like in the language, so that you can give them additional clues through that process. And you go back and forth. And there are also cards that the players can use that have special powers. They get to use those twice during the game. They get 9 back and forth guesses with the author in this way. And at the end, maybe they've uncovered the secret of this lost language, and maybe they have not. And it's a fantastic game. I love this game. It's going to be in my top 20, I can tell you.
Nice.
Have you played your actual copy yet? Or?
No, but I've played the print and play that I made before I bought the actual copy. I played that again, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was just wondering if, like, I'm assuming it's worth it, like to buy the game instead of just use the print.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just sort of copied the game on my own to make the print and play, right? But the game is so good, I absolutely had to buy it, and now it's really nice to have those actual very brightly colored cards that show the locations. Those are great. Those are well done, and to have the cards with the picture language on them, very very clean, clear lines. It is, and it's a $20 game. Absolutely. Absolutely worth it.
That's a good price point.
Yeah, very, very small box game. It's just cards, and some dry erase markers. But this is, the concept appeals to me just so much. I love playing this game. And, if you're into linguistics and if you're into, word games and using, deduction to figure things out, this is, a very open-ended version of that, which I haven't seen before, and I really like it.
Yeah, it was really fun when we played it.
I liked it better than I thought it was going to be.
We should play it again.
Yeah. Now, it could be terrible if you have the wrong person leading.
It could be difficult. It could be difficult for certain people, I would think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Next on my list is Raiders of Scythia, and this is by Garfield Games. This is designed by the same person who did Raiders of the North Seas and all those West Kingdom games. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know this at first. I haven't even played those games. So the game sounds very similar to Raiders of the North Sea. Eric, did you play that one?
It's been a little while. I don't know. I think it was maybe it was
like 2 years ago.
Right?
Right?
It was probably been like 2 years ago now. We're supposed to play, West Kingdom pretty shortly.
Yeah.
Within the next week.
The art in this one is 1,000 times better.
Oh, I like the art quite a bit too. I don't know if I like it better or worse, but I like it differently.
Yes.
Because it like West Kingdom and stuff, that's all like super vibrant, and this is very like browns and grays and stuff, but it works really well.
Yeah, it's well done art.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the way the game works is it's a worker placement game in which you're going to place workers out to get different resources, things like that. You're also going to place workers out to get these raiders, I guess. I'm going to call it your war band because it sounds cool. You have a board that you could put these different cards on, which are different people. And these are multi-use cards. So they have different functions and different abilities on them. They also have hit points so they can die. And so once you collect enough resources and stuff and you want to go raid one of the village boards, you actually will count up all your strength and you roll some dice and you will compare it. And it's not there is a fail, but it's mostly like multiple tiers of success. So if you do pretty bad, you're going to get less victory points and suffer more wounds. But if you do really well, you're going to suffer less wounds, get more victory points. And you're going to put those wounds out on your character cards and they can die and you have to go hire more people and stuff. So that's the gist of the game. Apparently it's very similar to Raiders of the North Sea. And it looks cool though. All your characters can get horses and eagles and stuff too.
I like that.
Which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. It looks great. It looks super busy, but just by getting a gist of the game, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated. Even though there's like, I don't know if it's by player count, but there's like these 4 boards that you put out, and then that's what you're raiding is these different cities, and there's different spots on these to raid. And you play the game until like there's 2 or 1 of these boards left, and that's when the game's going to end. So seems really cool. I'm pretty excited by it.
Next one for me is Smartphone Inc. Status Update 1.1. I think it's 1.1, or maybe it's just Status Update. Initially, I was like, "Oh man, that's kind of a not the best way to come out with update. Give it a name or something." But thinking back on it, actually, it's ingenious because whenever you get an update on your phone, it's not going to be like, the status update is, give it this name. It's always like, this is status update 2.5. So I'm going to go back on that and say that was actually pretty good. Arcane Wonders is coming out with it. It's coming out in July, so out soon. It looks like they're going to have a reprint of the base game for those of us that haven't got our hands on it just yet. So this expansion adds some modules to the game. It also adds a board for 2 and 3 players, which in the base game you just kind of change it around. You put these tiles out to cover different cities. Which we've only played it online. The board that is on here is a 2-layer board that you can put the resources in, or the cell phones really, into the board itself. Now,
that's pretty cool.
If the base game had that previously, or the new base game has it, I'm not sure. But in this status update, that's one of the perks. It also comes out with new technologies, which is a great thing, because that's one thing that kind of limited the replay of the base game. I thought was you can flip the technologies, but after a while you're going to be playing with a lot of the same technologies. There's going to be some directive tokens, which are going to be some common goals for you to do to get points at the end of the game. There's going to be these CEO figures, and I couldn't really figure out what those did. It just says it personally control the shipment of goods, which you kind of control in the game anyway. So I'm not sure on exactly what they do, but the CEO figures look pretty cool. And then it has a rules for a hardcore mode in the game.
Where you can die?
No, probably not. But yeah, so some different modules to kind of play with. It's going to give it a little bit more life. This is another game that we've talked about here not so long ago. So if you want to know our thoughts on the game, just go back in our episodes.
Yes, definitely. Is it me?
Yes.
Okay, we're on to the top 3 games. And so this is my number 3, and I'm so excited about this one for so many different reasons. It's called Mariposas. Mariposas is, I believe, Spanish for butterfly. And this is a game that is by Elizabeth Hargrave, who was the designer of Wingspan, one of my favorites. And so this is, you would think, coming out from the same company, but it's actually not. This is coming out from Alderac Entertainment Group.
Or AEG.
Yes, and this is one where you're playing with a group of butterflies that start in Mexico, so they're monarchs, and they're going to be traveling on their migration all the way up to Canada, and then back. Although it's not the same butterflies because they die once they get there, but still, you have to come back in the game. And along the way, you're going to be picking up these flowers, so you're set collecting these flowers as you do so. And as you do it, there's ways to get points that are objectives, like have a certain number of your butterflies east of Houston at a certain time, or have a certain number of your butterflies north of New Orleans, or I don't know, whatever. There's just different places on the board that you might want to be at different times. And as you move your butterflies around, they can level up, in a sense. They go from level 1 to level 4, and get different powers as they do. And as you collect these flowers, you can use them to do different things. And you can also use them to pick up cards that it's another sort of set collection where you get cards that represent the life cycle of the butterfly. The whole thing is gorgeous. Not in the same sense that Wingspan was, because there aren't all of these different cards with pictures of butterflies. I wish there were, but these are just tokens that have the flowers on them, and the flowers are also on the map. And the butterflies are wooden, painted meeples of butterflies with numbers on them. And the only real cards in the game are the ones that show the life cycle of the butterfly. And the art is okay, but overall, the art is very pleasing.
Just like Wingspan.
And the thing about this, particularly for me, is that, something I didn't mention about the game is there's also these spots on the board that are waypoints that have been created for butterflies. And it's important for me to get this game because my mom is a naturalist, and she has created one of these butterfly waypoints in the field out behind our house here. And so this room that I'm in right now is a little outbuilding, and it's now my studio. But last year and the years before that, this would have been full of cocoons and various moths and butterflies that my mom was raising. So that's been moved out. Thanks, Mom. But this game is going to be one that I know she's going to love. And the best thing about it is this wasn't made by the same company that made Wingspan, because that company, according to what I've heard, wanted to make it into a gamer game and make it like complicated and difficult. And Elizabeth Hargrave said, no, I want to make it where it is a simple, game that everyone can enjoy. So I know my mom's going to be able to play it. So I'm really excited and stoked for this one.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's almost like a Christmas present.
Oh, yeah,
you could buy
absolutely. I hope she doesn't listen to this.
All right, my number 3 is High Rise. This is coming out by Formal Ferret Games. And basically what you're trying to do is build the tallest buildings in each zone of the game, of the city, to get points or whatnot. The game kind of works like Francis Drake, where you have like a rondel of actions around the outside of the board. So when you go, you can move as far as you want, but you skip over all kinds of stuff. You're trying to run around grabbing different materials that you can build these buildings. And there's like a chart that you need these certain materials to build the buildings. As you're doing all this, you can also get corruption. So it's one of those games where at the end of the game, you'll get penalties for the corruption, but it's only for the people who are the most corrupt. So you can be a little corrupted and be okay. You just don't want to be the most corrupted. And all the buildings are these standees, but what's kind of interesting is as you get bonuses to the height of the building, because picture a standee, my has like a big 7 on the side or a 6 or a 5, and that's like the height of the building. And you can get these little standees that plug onto the top. So these buildings end up looking ridiculous and just huge on the board.
Right. Actually, that's one thing that made me look at it, is these buildings are like, I don't know, they're a foot tall.
Like 8 inches tall and stuff. 10 inches tall.
They're pretty large.
But they're made out of cardboard standees?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like cardboard standees. And you put them in a slotted base that is like your color piece. So you know who owns what buildings. But it just looks ridiculous once there's a bunch of buildings out there, because it's just all you see. They're not short. They are pretty tall. They are skyscrapers. Yeah, it ends up looking kind of neat.
How is it? How are you building them? What's the main mechanism? Like, are you putting out workers or? Well,
no, you're moving around the outside of the board like Francis Drake, And when you stop
you just
on
have
a space,
one
you get to
thing
pick
that represents you. Okay,
I believe so. Yeah, and you do the action. You get resources like steel or like Duraplastic, I think they called it, or something.
Yeah, and then you don't take another turn until like someone, whoever's in the furthest back takes their turn.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of those types of games.
Yep. And I think if I get this right, when you go on these spaces, there's actually multiple options sometimes, and you can choose like the less corrupt action,
or not,
or you can choose the most corrupt version of the action. Yeah. Seems pretty neat. The corruption is kind of a weird mechanism. Like, I don't know why that was added in there, but I'm very excited by it. So
probably because historically there's been so much corruption in the real estate industry.
Right.
That's true. And I do believe the game is kind of futuristic. So I don't know what year it takes place. I was trying to look that up. It doesn't say. Maybe it does in the rule book, but it looks pretty cool. It has a very cool presence on the board, though.
Yeah.
So
for me, the next one is Targi the expansion. For us in the U.S., we finally get that. For people that have maybe in Germany or elsewhere, they've had it for a couple of years, but it's the first printing that's moved over here to the U.S.
Yep.
So it adds a couple more options for you to do. The base game is going to be relatively the same, except there's going to be these sand dune cards that are off to the side, and they give you a pretty good action. where you have 3 tokens that are you're putting on the border of your play area. You're going to use one of those to put on to one of these sand dunes cards and take that action. It incorporates like water jugs that are used kind of as a wild, and then there's this Targi or Targia person that goes opposite way of the robber, and that provides you some kind of benefit as well. So something definitely to, if you like Targi, it's probably something that you're wanting to get.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that game quite a bit.
It's so good. Okay.
And off to George.
Okay. My number 2 is another game that I already have and enjoy quite a bit, and it's called Endangered.
I remember this one.
This is one where you're using dice placement to take actions in order to save animals that are endangered, such as the base game comes with tigers and sea otters. And for a long time, I thought I wouldn't get this game because I wouldn't be able to stand it when the sea otters got killed, but so
sometimes they die.
Sometimes it happens. Yeah, it's just the way it goes. So, and then I also have an expansion for it, which is pandas. And what happens is you roll your dice and you take actions with your dice. One of the actions. What are the actions that you could do?
Flashbacks, Origins, 2018 or 2017.
That stupid song that came out where he's like, panda, panda, panda. Eric and Matt just said that over and over. I'm like, what are you all talking
I can't
about?
wait till we play this now.
Yeah, panda, panda.
So you have dice that you can put on these basic actions on the board, and one of the actions is to let you get a card. So you have a hand of cards, and one of the actions is that will let you play a card. So you can play a card, and the card that you're playing has other actions on it. So you're just adding to what you can do as the game goes along. And at the end of every round, there's a threat that happens that messes up your plans. And the real interest of the game is that you're not just trying to save the animals themselves and coax them into being together to produce more animals, which you are doing, and you're trying to save them from the deforestation or the oil slicks and all that kind of thing. So you have to clean up the environment and replant trees and all this stuff. Okay, but at the same time, you have to also play a political game and get influence in different ways placed on various countries' leaders, because you have to get 4 of them to vote yes to preserve this species in a particular way. That's how you win the game. Not just, you have to keep the animals alive, of course, but you also have to play this other kind of game at the same time. And that's what makes it really interesting. And when you place dice out, you have to work together, because when you put a die out on an action, the next person can't do that action unless they can place a higher value die on it. So as you go, things just get jammed up, and then you're out of luck. And when you play, one person plays, they put out their dice, and then they select the next person to go. That person hasn't rolled their dice yet. You can't just plan everything out. But there's various roles in the game that have various powers. If you're a zoologist, you get to do a certain thing, or if you're a TV host, you get to do something, or if you're a lobbyist or a lawyer, you have certain things that you can do. So it sort of gives you a reason to pick certain people in a certain order, and hopefully you can mitigate everything and eventually make everything work out. And it's a really clever dice game, and the theme is fantastic. And some of the money goes to biological diversity and saving these animals. And there's a Kickstarter coming out August 11th where they're going to have 6 or 7 more species to add to the game. So it's tremendous.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was your number 1, but
you know what? It probably should be, but my number 1 is just based on hope. You know, like you imagine a game. You imagine a game is going to be better than it really is. When I actually get the number 1 game, I'll probably realize this one is better. but we'll see. Maybe in my imagination, the number 1 is even better.
That's fair. My next one comes to no surprise, but it's Role Players expansion, Friends and Familiars. we've talked about it in the past when the Kickstarters happened and stuff like that. This is coming to retail now. And if you're familiar with Role Player, what this is going to kind of add is, first, there's dual colored dice that is 1 to 4 in value on the pips that it adds, but it might be a red and a blue die, or purple and a white, or whatever. So it adds dual colored dice. The only thing that annoys me about that, though, is all the dice in the game. No, they are pips, aren't they? Never mind. I'm good. For some reason, I was thinking one was numbers and one was pips, and they were mixing them. They're all dots. We're all good.
I like how they do that, though.
Anyway,
so the trade-off, you get 2 colors, but you'll never get a 5 or a 6. So yeah, that's
the trade-off. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
It is. And I mean, because that's like the trade-off of the other expansion where you have the clear dice. They're really high value, but they're not colored. You know, they're like
okay.
colorless.
So with these dice that are 1 to 4, there's 6 sides on the die. Like how many? How do they do that?
I don't know what the layout is. I'm assuming it's probably the exact same for all of them. Like it has to be what 1 1 2 2 3 3, probably 1 1 2 2 3
something.
4. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that. It also comes with these familiar boards that you put in front of your player board as well. They can take dice. There's 3 slots for dice on those. And obviously they have a scoring based on what power you want to put on there. Or what, you know, if you have like between a certain set of number range at the end of the game. Okay. Anytime you put a die on this, just like the other stats, you get to activate a power, but the power is different for each of these familiar boards. Like, for instance, this one says tough, and it says after placing a die on Blood Badger. That's the familiar name. I like it already. Yeah, I know, right? You may banish a fiend if you do gain an XP. So another thing the game adds are these fiends, which are like these little small cards that give you like a negative impacting ability. And those actually get set out on if I remember correctly, on some of the drafting cards. When you're drafting for the dice, some of these fiends come out, and you might have to, you know, I really like this number die and everything. And it comes with gold, but it also has a fiend. So you might have to use ways to get rid of the fiends. Otherwise they'll give you negative impacting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Abilities. Yep. Blood Badger. Other than that, it adds a lot of the same stuff from like more market cards, more minions, more monsters. It's always, you know, the more the better, the more the merrier for Role Player.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it tremendously.
And there's a Kickstarter on for Role Player.
Well, Role Player Adventures, it's a different game.
Looks neat though.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool.
It looks phenomenal. And you bring your characters that you made in Role Player. Anyway, but this ain't about that.
So I'm going to be skipping number 2 here. Maybe some communication errors, and Tim took my Jaws of the Lion.
Oh.
So Jaws of the Lion, number
2. All right, fair enough.
I figured you would like that one, yeah. My number 1 is called The Search for Planet X, and this is a game in which you are playing as observatories, and you're looking at the cosmos, and you're trying to determine where Planet X is, and it's a deduction game. So the whole thing is actually run by an app, and so you're performing experiments, and you're doing astronomical calculations and things in order to narrow down in the night sky where is Planet X. And that theme and the way that it has a similarity to Alchemists, where you can publish your results. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not, whatever, but you can get points. You get points for publishing, is something that really appeals to me. I think I love deduction games. That's one of my favorite things. And I think this one is going to be my deduction game for this year for sure. I'm really excited about the amount of difficulty that this game looks to bring to the table. This looks like a serious deduction game with a lot of interplay and a lot of giving information to each other with when you publish, versus what you say when you publish that'll give everyone information, but you still want to do it to get points. And, what experiments do you do when in order to figure out what you need to? And it just seems really good. So I have high hopes.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
High hopes. My number one is a game called Four Gardens. And this seems awesome. Eric, I think you're really going to be interested in this one.
Four Gardens?
Four Gardens. It's by Korea Board Games. And I don't know what it's being published by here in America. Let's see. Oh, it just says Korea Board Games.
It's probably going to be good.
Anyway.
Important.
Right? Eric's biased. It comes with this 4-story pagoda that actually can rotate each of the floors.
Yeah.
And so here's how the game kind of works. You have a hand of cards and you need to build these things called panoramas. When you play a card, like I think you have like 3 actions on your turn, but everything you do is end up getting a card out of your hand. You can play a card like face down on its like preparing side, and then you have to put the resources on that card to actually flip it over to its panorama side. And you get the resources by discarding a card and rotating one of the floors of the pagoda and then getting all the resources on that floor. And I believe it's like you get all the stuff above it or below it as well. And you don't necessarily want a lot of resources because you can only carry so many. So you need to get what you need rather than just getting and hoarding resources. And once you get the resources and put them on your building cards or whatever, the preparing side, and flip them over to the panorama side, the panoramas actually have these one of 4 different god track symbols, like blue, red, green, yellow type of thing. I think it's blue, red, purple, blue. Wait, blue, purple, red, yellow. There's 4 tracks. And as you go up on these tracks, they're obviously worth more victory points at the end of the game. But here's the kicker. And this part right here, other than the 3D pagoda and it having resources on them and stuff, that's awesome. This also sounds great. When you move up on the track, if you get to the end, you don't keep going up, obviously. So what you do is you push everybody back down 1 space instead of you moving up. Now, mathematically, it ends up being the same kind of, right? But here's the big kicker. If people get pushed back so far and fall off the scoring board, they can never score on that god track again. And so as you're playing it, you can't just ignore certain color god tracks because you don't want to be kicked off of it entirely because you may want to score on it later. So I don't know. It just sounds absolutely amazing.
And it looks absolutely amazing, actually.
It looks super cool.
The pagoda is a really cool piece.
Yeah, Eric, did you look at that?
I seen the pagoda. Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit.
All right. So for me, my last one is Tekhenu. Hopefully, I said that right. Obelisk of the Sun.
Yes. Sounds awesome.
So it's one of the designers is and I'm going to mess up his name as well. Daniele Taschini. What do you think?
Right. I have no clue.
Anyway, so
I don't have it in front of me either.
Yeah. So he's made games like Zolkin and Voyages Marco Polo and Teotihuacan. So he has a lot of games that I like.
This definitely looks like his next game.
Yeah,
it looks like one of his games.
So it has an Egyptian theme. It has this big obelisk in the center of the board that moves, and it's going to put different sections, in sunny or shaded or dark areas. And it's a dice drafting game, and there's different colored dice that you're going to have to draft. And then with those dice that you draft, there's going to be these pure dice and these tainted dice, and then you're going to have to kind of you can get these tainted dice, but if you get too much of it, because you're going to have to balance these dice out. If you get too many tainted, then you're going to have to lose victory points. It also affects turn order and stuff like that. So with these, you're doing these 6 different types of actions depending on these gods. They're all revolved around these 6 gods, I believe. And Yeah, so quite a busy board and quite a lot to do.
Yes.
Just like a game
It looks super cool.
So really wanting to try this one out.
We're going to force George to play this one.
Oh, yeah. So high hopes for this game, and it looks like it's going to be really good.
What is the time?
Yeah,
how long is it supposed to go?
It says 60 to 120.
Weren't we just talking about that?
So, I don't know. Probably 2 hours?
No.
two and a half.
Yeah. First game, 2.5.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yeah. All right, well, cool. That is our summer preview games that we picked out of the Board Game Geek list. If you're interested, it probably still is up on Board Game Geek on the main page. Otherwise, tune in next episode. We're doing episode 100, where we go through our top 20 games of all time, since that's like what everybody wants to call their top list now. But Matt will be back on that episode as well, and we'll have 4 people going over our top 20 games. And then
fantastic.
Yeah. Now, if I would have thought about it ahead of time, it'd be a cool contest. Guess our top games or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's probably not going to happen. So, but if you want to guess, sure, just send us an email at MeepleCore@gmail.com, and I'll make up some prize if you get a lot of them right. Pro tip, you can check out our videos on the Dice Tower to see at least mine, Eric, and Matt's top 10s from last year or from 2 years ago, and then 3
Yeah,
and
that
4
would
years
definitely
ago.
skew the results of any kind of a contest.
Yeah.
It's true, but if you guess George's, you get bonus points.
I think mine will be pretty easy.
I don't know. I don't even know if I can name your top 10 games. I could probably name a few of them.
Probably top 5.
I bet you could, yeah.
Yeah.
No, all right. Let's pause there before we spoil anything, since I just said some kind of random contest. Anyway, we're going to wrap this episode up. We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 99 of the MeepleCore podcast. This episode was recorded on July 9th, 2020. Please send questions and comments to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out video versions of the show on youtube.com/MeepleCore. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
Eric Ledford.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.